You're watching Tailgate Week, fired up by Kingsford Charcoal.
For whom the bell tolls, here in Mississippi State, the cowbells will be tolling, looking for an SEC upset. But LSU star quarterback Zach Mettenberger has arrived in Starkville, ready to answer the bell after a heartbreaking loss in one of the season's best heavyweight battles. The Tigers still control their championship hopes. We welcome you to ESPN College Football Primetime, presented by Hampton Hotels, part of Tailgate Week, fired up by Kingsford Charcoal. As you are watching the SEC on ESPN. From Davis-Wade Stadium here in Starkville, number 10 LSU stepping into the Bulldogs' backyard. As we say, good evening, everybody. Glad you're with us. Nothing better than a little Saturday night in the SEC. Let's hope we get a good one here for you, folks. Joe Tessitore alongside Matt Millen. LSU just scored 41 in that thriller against Georgia. They've got an offense that may be the best they've had in recent years, arguably the best wide receiver duo in the country, and a quarterback who many say is the most improved player in all of college football.
And I would lead that argument. And Tess, it's not because he lacked the skills, because he clearly had them. But what he did was he straightened up his throwing motion and his feet. And all of quarterback play really is from the waist down. Mettenberger is playing as well as any college quarterback. He's throwing like a pro right now. And he has guys on the outside who are playing like pros. And you take a good look at Odell Beckham on one side, and then you got Jarvis Landry on the other. They are big plays waiting to happen from any point of the field. They have escapability, and they have monster plays written all over them.
And the Mississippi State offense, not quite as easy to define. Not when the offensive coordinator's turning to us and saying, guys, do you know who the starting quarterback is?
Exactly.
They're trying to figure it out. Here's what we can tell you. Tyler Russell is back from that opening week concussion. He'll be on the second series, though, because Dak Prescott's been playing well. He's going to get the first and third series at least to start the game.
It's just a sophomore, and his game is just starting to define itself. And so what he really lacks right now is confidence, and he needs to get some. Now, he's a different player because he can take off and run, has better run skills while still throwing the ball. Now, they believe Tyler Russell is the better thrower. You'll see him second series, and then they'll alternate, and then they're going to make a decision on what to go with. But Tyler Russell was the starter at the beginning of the season for a reason. Let's see if he can recapture
Russell's
that.
a senior, Prescott the sophomore. LSU has won 13 straight against the Bulldogs, but this is a tough place to play. Loud, proud, full of sound. 26 straight sellouts here in Starkville. Kickoff when we return.
Visit WatchESPN.com or download the Watch ESPN app to watch ESPN live anytime, anywhere. Brought to you by Vizio.
I was made to work, make my mark with pride, create moments of value, build character through quality, and earn the right to be called a classic. The Land's End No Iron dress shirt, starting at $49.
Honey, that's enough TV.
It's not TV. It's from my tablet.
Looks like you're watching TV to me.
Got it.
Brad.
But it's YouTube.
No YouTube.
Fine.
Brad.
What? It's Netflix.
That's enough TV.
You know, technically it's not TV, per se.
More ways to watch and control your TV. This is Smart TV from Samsung.
Introducing the Rack Roll Down, the lowest prices ever at Rent-A-Center. We've rolled down prices on your favorite brands throughout the store. Everyone's pre-approved for our new lower prices, so hurry in and save like never before at Rent-A-Center.
ESPN College Football Primetime, brought to you by the Land's End No Iron dress shirt, made to work, starting at just $49, and iShares by BlackRock. Visit iShares.com to learn more.
That's 4 p.m. on Friday afternoons, the Bulldog Dash. Mississippi State fans racing for that prize tailgate real estate. LSU has played Mississippi State more times, more wins against them than any other SEC team they've played. And let's say good evening to our Maria Taylor. Good evening, Maria.
Good evening, Tess. Well, the LSU defense will have to do without their senior safety, Craig Lawson, who was left at home with a leg injury. He'll be replaced by a sophomore, Craig Thompson. Also, senior linebacker Taj Jones did not make the trip. He'll be replaced by another sophomore, Quan Alexander. Now, despite all of the youth that's on this LSU defense, senior linebacker Lamine Barrow says that he expects to see improvement today. He told his team this week of practice that he's never seen anybody put 44 points on an LSU defense. So he's challenged them to play with grit and make a statement. So guys, today we have a youthful defense that's looking to reassert themselves.
And without Jones and Lawson, as Maria said, 2 starters out for that youthful defense of Les Miles. LSU 20 wins, 1 loss under Miles after a loss. Dan Mullen, 5 years on the job here in Starkville, says we have to execute. We have to move the ball. We have to take some shots down the field, hit some, and we can't give LSU a shortcut. Mississippi State won the toss. They deferred. LSU will receive. The dangerous Odell Beckham Jr. will be back to receive for LSU as Devin Bell will kick away for Mississippi State. And this will be the 14th touchback of the year for Bell.
Well, Tess, when you take a look at this LSU offense, there's a lot of guys who qualify as being an impact player, and they're brought to you by Chick-fil-A. Jeremy Hill, just a sophomore. This kid has star written all over him, and his compatriot there, J.C. Copeland, a big man, 270 pounds. They're just a bull of a backfield. Chris Jones, just a freshman, 18 years old, 300 pounds. He has phenomenal potential. You just have an outstanding young talent on this Mississippi State defense, and they're going to have to show up.
And those stars at receiver, Beckham Jr. and Landry, for that man, Zach Mettenberger. Now 14-4 is the starter for LSU. This is his 19th straight start. It's the longest streak for an LSU quarterback in 15 years. Play action. Mettenberger with time. He's going to launch it for Beckham Jr. And he goes up and comes down with it past midfield.
Tess, for for LSU, Mettenberger, he's going to expect a lot of zone today. The reason Mississippi State doesn't have the athletes to be able to run with these guys man-to-man. So they're going to have to play a lot of zone, and they're going to have to get an extra guy up in the back in the back seven to play kind of with a loaded box, because this is a tough running team.
Here's Jeremy Hill testing the left side, and just gets about a yard and a half there.
So what happens then, Tess, is it falls on the shoulders of Zach Mettenberger. And everybody's talked about how much he's improved, and he really has. But really, it wasn't, he had the physical skills. It was just the details of what he does.
Already more touchdown passes this year, with 13 of them than he had in all of last year. And got a flag that comes down there at the line of scrimmage.
Target snap, all start, offense, number 85. 5-yard penalty, it remains second down.
There's a guy that's made such a big difference for this LSU offense, Cam Cameron, the new coordinator.
Well, the difference that he made was just tightening up his quarterback. He was too long with his stride. He would overstride a bunch, and he had a long loopy motion, and he shortened all that. Right now, I'm telling you, Tess, this kid is as good as there is right now. He is throwing some BBs.
This is Terrence McGee, and he is wrapped up at the line of scrimmage that time. Preston Smith getting in there against the backup tailback for LSU.
That's 2 run plays and 2 positives for this Mississippi State defense. If they're going to have success tonight, their down 4 defensive linemen are going to have to dominate.
See, LSU is 3rd in the country in 3rd down conversions. This is a 3rd and 13. And that is complete to Beckham Jr., one of the best receivers in the country, and he shows why there on 3rd and 13.
And Tess, that's one of the best throws you're going to see. And Mettenberger was under pressure. You're going to see he gets a little bit of a hit right there from Chris Jones. That's just the freshman, but he threw it back shoulder. Look at that. That's up high. I tell you, this kid's been on fire.
Mettenberger to pass on 1st down, and once again it's complete to Jarvis Landry. Let's check in with Reese Davis.
Joe, we might have our first big upset of the year. Taco Bell studio update. Tennessee and Georgia. Rajon Neal giving the Vols the lead. Under 2 minutes to play. A top 10 team has not lost to an unranked opponent all season. Dogs in Tennessee territory trying to save themselves.
Wow, how about that? Georgia with a battle against Tennessee a week after that thriller against these LSU Tigers. Maybe still thinking about it, looking in the rearview mirror. 1st down for LSU just beyond the 10. Jeremy Hill is stacked up. That was Deontay Skinner getting right to Hill.
Skinner, the senior linebacker, they loaded the box. They had 8 at the box, and Mettenberger decided to keep it on and run. Skinner held the outside. That's called holding the edge right there. See that? Extremely good job of holding that edge, and then here comes Spassi. Tell you who's playing well in his first series is Chris Jones, that number 96, just a freshman.
He was an under-the-radar recruit from a small town here in Mississippi. 2nd and 10 now. And they got to him. Preston Smith, a flag comes down as they bring down Mettenberger, and this may be a face mask.
Preston Smith working off the top. That's a really poor set.
Personal foul, face mask, defense number 92. The penalty is half the distance in the goal and includes an automatic 1st down.
See how upset Dan Mullen is. His defense was firing off there against Mettenberger and that LSU offense. That'll be a 1st down with the ball cresting on the 7-yard line. So 1st and goal for the Tigers as they go with a 2 tight set. And Jeremy Hill, he's taken down after a gain of just 1 by McKinney.
And Danico Autry right there also. This defensive line, we've mentioned every one of their names, Test, right off the start. They are really doing a good job of getting off blocks. What they haven't been able to do, with the exception of we had the face mask, is get pressure on Mettenberger.
And covering Beckham Jr. is another story altogether, as you saw him go 2 catches over 20 yards to put them in this prime position. 2nd and goal now. McGee in the backfield with Mettenberger.
Well, you got a mismatch in the slot right now with Jones and Willison is against the linebacker. Jarvis Landry.
Play clock is coming down. And Mettenberger's going to take a timeout. Boy, does it get loud when you get to that prime real estate here in Starkville.
I'm your tailgate grill. Your buddy was in such a rush to get into the game, he didn't quite put me out. I see you bought the industrial-sized bottle of lighter fluid. Smart. And if you got cut rate insurance, you could be paying for this yourself. So get an Allstate agent and be better protected from mayhem. Like me.
Mayhem is everywhere. Are you in good hands?
Whoa, whoa, easy guys. Battle's over. We got our PlayStation 4s a while ago, got here early. There were like at least 1 million robots.
We won, by the way.
That's Dave. He's a crazy man. You should have been there.
Play the future first. Grab a Taco Bell $5 box, and you could win a PlayStation 4 before it's released.
Where are you guys from?
Your car. It's been your wingman, dining room, and best friend. Baby maker, and baby soother. At Pennzoil, we know it doesn't matter what you do in your car, it only matters what you put in it. That's why Pennzoil is designed to give you unsurpassed engine protection, so you can protect your car and the memories made in it. Buy 5 quarts of Pennzoil Platinum and a filter for $33.99 at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts.
In football, is it better to be more reliable or less reliable?
If they can count on you, you can play. But if you can't, you're on a bench. Bench warmer is what my dad says.
Oh, does your dad play football?
No, but he watches it on the couch.
Oh, so he's a couch warmer. I thought it was funny.
It's not complicated. More reliable is better, and AT&T is the nation's fastest and now most reliable 4G LTE network.
Hey, what's that?
Oh, new Cheez-It Zings, the crunchiest Cheez-It yet. Please, no.
Wild Zings.
We take the time for our cheese to mature before we bake it into our new Zings crackers. Because at Cheez-It, real cheese matters.
Joe, Matt, and Maria here in Starkville. Glad you're with us. LSU and Mississippi State. Second of back-to-back SEC road games for LSU.
Tess, what a beautiful day down here in Starkville. Absolutely
really
gorgeous.
Always a great atmosphere and a crowd that is always enthusiastic when one of the big boys of the SEC comes to town. Second and goal for the Tigers.
You got single coverage up high.
Kenny Hilliard straight up the middle. And he fights his way for just a couple of yards that time.
There's one thing that's coming out of this right now that Mississippi State has to be happy with. Their defensive line is handling the offensive line of LSU.
Yeah, that front seven playing fairly well on this drive. It's been the mismatch out on the perimeter with Odell Beckham Jr.
Which they knew they were going to have a problem with.
Third and goal from the 4. The pitch to Hilliard. Can he get to the corner? Touchdown, Tigers. Kenny Hilliard. There's a block on the outside by Dylan Gordon. And Hilliard with his 3rd rushing touchdown of the season.
Dylan Gordon is the whole key. You're going to watch his tight end right down here, right in the bottom. See that? He just stays all over him. Ryan Brown can't get off the block, and because he can't get off the block, it's 6.
Colby Delahousse, the redshirt freshman, 28 of 28 on his extra points. And this one looked like it was deflected, but does go through. So Les Miles and the Tigers, a 10-play drive to open up the evening, and a 7-0 lead here on the road.
The great thing about our many breakfast options
Did a great job. It looks good.
is they're right next to our many other breakfast options. Feel the Hamptonality.
Some things are designed to draw crowds. Others are designed to leave them behind. The all-new 2014 Lexus IS. It's your move.
Get the Blu-ray that's loaded with stuff you've never seen before.
OMG.
You cannot rob us!
Hermione just stole all of our...
This is the end. Now on Blu-ray.
Let me tell you something. If you took away the money, If you took away the fame, if you took away the lifestyle and all the flash, what would you have left? Everything.
Discover card.
I wanted to ask you a couple of questions.
I've got nothing to hide.
My bill is due today, and I haven't paid yet.
You can pay up till midnight online or by phone the day it's due.
Got a witness to verify that?
Just you. You called me.
Okay, that checks out.
At Discover, we treat you like you'd treat you. Get the IT card with payment flexibility.
We know it's your most important video conference of the day.
Hi, buddy.
That's why the free Wi-Fi and hot breakfast are something to smile about. Feel the Hamptonality.
ESPN College Football Primetime is presented by Hampton Hotels. Feel the Hamptonality. And in part by Lexus, introducing a car designed with one purpose, to stand apart. The all-new 2014 Lexus IS. It's your move.
I'll tell you, it was rocking in Starkville last night. The Black Crows were playing down there in the Cotton District. You know, some of the guys in the crew went over to see the Black Crows. You and I were stuffed after Restaurant Tyler taking down all that Southern cuisine that
they had a farm egg.
Chef Ty can bring it, huh?
That farm egg thing, whatever that was.
That's why I ripped half of it off your plate.
That was outstanding. Yeah, I'll get you back. Don't worry.
Oh, LSU with that long scoring drive to open up the evening. Mettenberger was 3 for 3 to put him in position. Then Hilliard had the 3-yard touchdown run for Les Miles. James Harrison will be kicking away. Remember, they gave up that 100-yard kickoff return earlier this year in TCU in the opener. And Jamion Lewis will be back deep for Mississippi State. He's a dangerous one. And from a yard in of his end zone, here's Lewis. And Lewis gets free. Jamion Lewis. One more move out past the 45. They are live here in Starkville. Let's check in with Reese about that Georgia-Tennessee game.
Dr. Pepper 10 conference update, Joe, with Georgia's national championship hopes hanging in the balance. 3rd and goal, 7 seconds. Aaron Murray to Rantavius Wooten, who's about the only healthy receiver Georgia has left. 31-31. They're going to overtime on Rocky Top.
Unbelievable.
You know, I'll tell you one thing about, we're covering LSU here, and you know all week long, what was everybody still talking about? Last Saturday, right?
Exactly right.
You got games to play here this Saturday. And they never stop coming after you in the SEC. And this is Ladarius Perkins now as he gets to the outside, and Perkins with a big gainer inside the 30, down to the 26, the senior running back with a 28-yard run.
Well, he's getting some blocks and a little bit of help from his friend. Look how he sets it up right there. Very well done, and is able to bounce it to the outside. And then he gets a little help from a freshman on the outside there, number 18. Just a freshman, Darunya Wilson, with an outstanding block.
Longest run allowed by LSU this season. Remember, Dak Prescott starting at quarterback for the first series. He'll play the first and third series. Inside handoff to Perkins, and this time he didn't have much room at all. Impact players are brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
Well, we already saw one of them here from this Mississippi State team, at Ladarius Perkins. You saw the kind of speed he had. Jamion Lewis is a returner who had the big returner, so both of them have already made their presence felt. Now, Quan Alexander and Anthony Johnson. Anthony Johnson, inside tackle, big physical, has to have a big game. Quan Alexander can just flat out fly. Just a sophomore. He's a big play player.
He's in for Taj Jones, who's out with a hamstring. 2nd and 12. Here's Prescott. Pressure comes. He steps up. Remember, he can run. And he does so with a first down and a touchdown. 28-yard touchdown run for Dak Prescott. Unconventional formation. Prescott going for 2, but it's incomplete. So the score will be 7-6 as they counted the numbers there on special teams, and Prescott decided to go for it. A 28-yard touchdown run for the sophomore quarterback, his 6th rushing touchdown of the season.
ESPN College Football, Washington to Stanford, tonight at 10:30.
The all-new 2014 Lexus IS. This is your move.
Stop. Capture that. Intensity.
He was a 13-time Pro Bowler. Now, Ray Lewis brings his passion to your living room. Sunday NFL Countdown, 10 Eastern on ESPN.
This could be your office. This could be your break room. This could be your parking space. And this is your upward mobility. Imagine what could be if you joined Charter's outside sales team. As one of the largest providers of TV, internet, and phone, we offer our sales reps comprehensive benefits, a flexible schedule, and 6-figure earning potential. This could be you. Visit charter.com/careers today.
The magic of Voodoo Barbecue. It's people, passion, and pure enjoyment. Seasoned with Louisiana's best. A fusion of Creole, Cajun, and Caribbean. It's the soul, the sound, the taste of barbecue New Orleans style.
Feed the crew on game day. Party packs as low as $7.49 per person. Available at all 7 locations. Order today.
Dak Prescott, who has now started the last 4 games. Tyler Russell out with the injury early this year. Got the call tonight and took advantage with a 28-yard touchdown run.
Well, and the reason why is real simple. They're going to take Wilson and run him out. And then right on the inside, you got Lewis. He's going to go inside. They blow this coverage. They have 2 defenders come inside. And then when Johnson, number 6, comes across, watch him down here. There's nobody on. No one on him. It breaks down inside, takes off. As he's taking off to run, watch the block on the backside. And that's just a thing of beauty right here. Right in the face. And then right over here, you got Runyon Wilson realizing that he's got a quarterback running, and he does a nice job of transitioning.
Beckham Jr. has got 3 special teams touchdowns in his career. And here he comes. And he is wrapped up at about the 23. Maria.
During that Mississippi State touchdown run, defensive coordinator Jeff Collins stopped all of his instructions, pointed to the Jumbotron, and told his defense they're taking advantage of the opportunity. We need you to. So right now, that defense is looking to feed off of that offensive momentum, guys.
Talk to us about the experience at cornerback and how knows those LSU receivers are going to test them. He tested them early, and Beckham Jr.'s already got 51 yards on a couple of catches, and let's see what Mettenberger and the offense offer up here on their second series. This play clock is down to 7 as they're just breaking the huddle. And they're going to have to use another timeout. Well, that was coming off of a kickoff return.
Wow.
LSU, second timeout this half.
So second timeout used by LSU with still 8:37 remaining in the first quarter. Later tonight on ESPN. Oh, Millen, this is going to be a good one. Let's get back to the hotel and just dial it up. Undefeateds in the Pac-12 North. Washington and Stanford. Part of Tailgate Week fired up by Kingsford Charcoal. We were just with Stanford last week. They got that power game. Everywhere they're strong in every position. And then Washington playing so much better this year on the offensive line.
The key to that game is going to be coaching on the offensive side for Washington. They're going to have Steve Sarkisian is an outstanding play caller. Keith Price is a very good thrower. Their offensive line is better than it's been. You have Bishop Sankey running the football. They've got some weapons, but that Stanford defense does not beat themselves. They're fun to watch.
That's coming up tonight at 10:30 once we finish things up here between LSU and Mississippi State. Had to use that timeout. Mettenberger was still getting the play after that kickoff. A little late to get out on the field. Jeremy Hill, the lone back here. Mettenberger to pass. And he gets it complete. And that is Landry. Let's check in with Reese.
Joe, you're not going to believe what just happened in Neyland Stadium. 2nd and goal. Pig Howard running for the lead. Into the end zone. Listen closely. Touch back. Lost the ball as he extended it. It's Georgia's ball as they are trying to win it.
That is just brutal for Tennessee as Connor Neighbors is stacked up for a loss of about 1.5 yards.
Well, Tess, I'm going to tell you who's brutal right now. This defensive line for Mississippi State is playing extremely well. Preston Smith came to play. Chris Jones, 96 inside. Ewell's number 92. Autry, 90. P.J. Jones, 93. Those guys have kicked it up a notch.
3rd and 2. They got Hill dot in the I formation. They give him the pitch, and Hill breaks free. Watch out! Downhill is Jeremy Hill. Touchdown, Tigers. A 69-yard touchdown trot.
They loaded the box. They loaded the box on short yardage, and there's no one behind. And then Nico Whitley, number 1, he misses the only shot you're going to get. And then Hill, like you said, was downhill fast. That's a good-looking kid, boy. That Jeremy Hill.
6'2", 235, just a sophomore, and he runs with aggression. Delahousse had his first attempt deflected, but it went in. See if he gets this one clean. And he does. And LSU with a 14-6 lead here. Longest rush of the season for the Tigers, a career long for Jeremy Hill, 69 yards.
No success is overnight. It's about working harder and smarter. It's the culmination of a million decisions. It's where you see yourself going and how you choose to get there. The 2013 GS. Our boldest response ever. There's no going back.
Winning a championship takes hard work, dedication, and commitment. Professional and world-class athletes use Advocare products. Why? Because they work. Scientifically formulated, independently tested, and proven to give us the results that we're looking for, to play at a championship level. Are you looking for results? Advocare. Use it. The pros do.
Right? Can you believe that guy?
try our tasty chicken minis for breakfast.
BNY Mellon combines investment management and investment servicing, giving us unique insights, which help us attract the industry's brightest minds, who create powerful strategies for a country's investments, which are used to build new schools, to build more bright minds. Invested in the world. BNY Mellon.
Well, you want to look at the touchdown. They loaded the box test. You heard me say that. What does that mean? They had 9 guys around the line of scrimmage, nice and tight. And take a look at this. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. One guy on the outside, Whitley sitting back here. So you have one shot and one shot only. There's your first one. He overran it. Now it's Brown inside. Here comes Whitley, and then it's off to the races. There's nobody back there. When you load the box, you have to make sure you're a sure tackling team.
And Jeremy Hill came into today with the most rushing touchdowns in the SEC. Add another. Make it 8. Career long for Hill. As Hairston will kick off again. Remember, Jamian Lewis went for 46 yards last time. Won't have a chance here. Goes for a touchback. Reese.
Joe, after that touchback, Georgia and Tennessee, Dogs Marshall Morgan from 42 yards. He stepped on their face with a hobnail boot and broke their nose. 34-31, Dogs pull it out in overtime.
What a thriller there for Georgia. A week after they had the big one against these Tigers. 34-31 at Tennessee. Remember, it was 44-41 against LSU. Think they've had a busy 7 days?
I'm still trying to figure out what a hobnail boot is.
It was bad news for Tennessee. That's the answer. There's a big hit that time on Brandon Holloway. As Dak Prescott remains in the game at quarterback. Now, Matt, that was not the original plan. We were told that Prescott would get the first series and the third series, that they would let the senior Tyler Russell, who's back healthy from the concussion, get in there. But Prescott was so effective on that first drive, had the 28-yard touchdown run. Here he is.
That was only a few plays, so they're going to keep him in and let him just let those feet continue to work for him.
Play action. And that is incomplete, as Malcolm Johnson couldn't hold on to it that time. There's some pressure on Prescott there. That was Quan Alexander coming in.
That was well done by Prescott, because he knows he's going to get spanked, and the ball is right where it has to be. This is inexcusable. That ball has to be caught. Playing against a defense like LSU and an offense that's going to be putting a lot of points on the board, every opportunity you have to take advantage of.
And Corey Thompson coming in from the safety position there against Johnson. Martin and Thompson are starting at safety tonight with Craig Walston out with an injury. 3rd and 9. Prescott. Pressure again. Can he escape it? Yes, he does. And another first down with his feet, and more from Dak Prescott.
The most impressive thing he did was recognize, Tess, that it was man-to-man right from the start. And as soon as he knows he's got man, once you get past the first line of rush, you have all backs to you. Everybody is locked man-to-man on somebody. You can watch it here. Here, see it. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. You got 5 receivers out. You got 5 men, 1 guy deep. You have backs to the quarterback. Take off and run.
So now 2 rushes for 50 yards for the sophomore quarterback. Perkins straight up the middle this time. And a good initial cut as Perkins gets to the 45. The entire offensive line just getting off and driving well there.
I'll tell you where they're really firing off the ball is that big number 61, Gabe Jackson. Their best offensive lineman. He'll be playing on Sundays, coming to a stadium near you. This kid's 330 pounds. He's a big, powerful guy. They need him to play his best game tonight. He's going to be kind of one-on-one with the 2 inside guys.
2nd and 3. Perkins is in the slot. Empty set for Prescott. And he quickly slings it and gets it complete to Johnson, who still drives ahead to the 36-yard line, and they will move the chains.
We talked to you about Big Gabe Jackson, number 61 on the inside. Day, the center, 63, is going to work away from him the majority of the night. So Gabe Jackson is going to have to be everything they say he is, because he's going against some of the best defensive linemen in college football.
Perkins. That time, initial contact was made in the backfield. He was able to just get about 1.5 yards. Ohio State, Northwestern, coming up on ABC. Washington, Stanford. What a nightcap in the Pac-12 after our SEC business here in Starkville.
Can't wait to hear what Todd Blackledge's assessment is of Hogan, because you know I like him a lot. I'm going to have to call Todd after the game and see what he thinks.
A lot of people think he's going to develop into a prize prospect. Here's Prescott. And he goes inside the 20-yard line. A flag comes in late that time as Joe Morrow was the target for Dak Prescott. The coverage came from Rashard Robinson.
I'll tell you one thing right now. Dak Prescott is on fire. Not only with his feet, but watch how he sits in here. Watch the feet and then perfect throw. That's a tiny window. Excellent coverage on the outside.
Holding defense, number 21. The penalty is declined. The holding play, first down.
That was on Rashard Robinson. This is a young man that wasn't cleared by the NCAA until the end of fall camp, so he didn't practice with the team until that week 1 prep against TCU.
And that really didn't make a bit of difference, because he was all over the coverage. He just hooked his backhand, and they saw it.
And I think he's got some big upside, the true freshman. Down at the 18. Prescott with plenty of time, and this is fired inside the 5-yard line, incomplete, as Johnson gets up with the ball, but it hit the ground incomplete. He was covered by Thompson.
Corey Thompson right there to Milton Test. This kid right now, Prescott, is throwing BBs. That's a fantastic throw, because that window he's thrown into is tiny. Dan Mullen really likes his young sophomore. You know, he knows what he has at the run game, and what he really needs is some confidence. And this first quarter should be giving him a lot of that.
2nd and 10, some pressure up the middle as he rolls away from it. And that ball was thrown just to the outside of Joe Morrow.
He missed him. You can't, and those are the opportunities you can't miss. Now you got your 3rd down. Dan Mullen's a good play caller. He knows what he has out there, and he knows he has to keep them off balance. He can't allow LSU to settle into not only what they're doing, but how they're doing it. If they settle into how they're protecting it, then LSU can attack their protection. So he's got to change things up.
So now a 3rd and 10 for Prescott. The receivers to the top, three to the bottom. And now this is Lewis coming in motion as they come around with a reverse wide receiver screen, and it doesn't go anywhere. Good coverage by Rashard Robinson, the true freshman whose story we just detailed.
Well, he made a great play, but Charles Sidaway, 77, that play was set up beautifully. Sidaway was going to be one-on-one on a corner on the outside, and the corner made a miss. And he made a miss and made the tackle. That's a big-time play.
So they'll send out Devin Bell, the sophomore kicker, who's been struggling a bit with his accuracy. He's 0 for 3 from 30 to 39 yards, this from 35. And this goes in. So a confidence boost for Devin Bell. Good energy here in Starkville. 14-9 Tigers.
That is it. There are no more burgers.
Half of these people haven't even eaten yet. Actually, who are half these people?
Well, they are my friends.
They're not my friends. Wonderful cookout. What's my name? Tim. All right.
Tim.
Everyone's a fan when you grill for game day with Kingsford.
For everyone, EA Sports. It's in the game.
Great tailgating, especially when you got Champ, the real Bulldog down here at Mississippi State. Look, he's all bedazzled as he's eating. Champ's not hungry, apparently. But hey, Champ's getting a little exercise. A little hydro treadmill for Champ as he tries to work off those treats. You need to do that for your bull mastiff. What's that big thing down there in Pennsylvania?
Big Deuce.
He does not. He needs some work.
Yeah, let me tell you something. That plate of food would not be sitting there with Deuce, who might arguably be the laziest dog on four paws.
Oh, no. I'll second that. I nearly tripped over him sitting in your house. (14-9) LSU. Georgia had a tough one, and now the Tigers being tested here in Starkville. And Beckham Jr. is going to take this one out. And a flag is down as he strides just beyond the 25. We got Ken Williamson heading up this SEC crew here.
Two fouls during return. Holding, number 40. That penalty declined. Holding, number 80. That penalty accepted. Half the distance to goal. First down.
Well, they had to both be on LSU, not one on one side and one on the other. They had to cancel, so he just pointed the wrong way.
Look at the SEC West. Now, you know what happened last week against Georgia, but LSU still controls things. They got Texas A&M and Bama still to come on that schedule. So number 10, still thinking championship, but a tough night here in Starkville. Play action for Mettenberger from the 1. And coming back for it was Beckham Jr. Let's check in with Reese again.
All right, Joe, Bulldogs arch rivals. Ole Miss taking on Auburn on ESPNU. Auburn up 6-3, and Bo Wallace pick 6. Robinson Therese making it look easy. Bo a little frustrated at the end. Gus Malzahn's team up 13-3 in the first.
Been a tough stretch, Reese, for Bo Wallace. Opened up his mouth before he played Alabama, got shut down, and now a pick 6 the other way. And here's Mettenberger with yet another strike to Beckham Jr., who stiff arms his way to the 46 against Nico Whitley.
Nico Whitley was put in an extremely bad position. They tried a corner blitz, bring the corner off the edge. You're going to watch, he's going to go jump down inside. That's Giles. That puts Whitley with nothing but green between he and Beckham. And that is something and a place you don't want to be in.
89 receiving yards for Beckham Jr. And Mettenberger's a perfect 6 for 6 to start the game. Here's Hill. And this time they wrap him up right at midfield. Remember, he busted loose for that 69-yard touchdown run on short yardage earlier. Odell Beckham Jr. already 4 catches tonight. And both parents attended LSU. Dad was a football star. Mom ran track. And he goes for over 21 yards per touch. Among the SEC leaders in touchdown catches, receiving yards, receptions.
They're showing blitz. Now they're getting out of it.
Alfred Blue on the pitch. And Blue's going to be about 1.5 yards short. So it'll be 3rd down for LSU. Tackled by P.J. Jones.
Jeff Collins, the defensive coordinator for Mississippi State, He's really asking a lot out of his secondary, but his corners in particular. And he knows that the LSU receivers, he knows what they are. And so he's kind of rolling the dice a little bit.
3rd and 1, they go with 22 personnel as Gordon Stokes are in at tight end, and the 270-pound fullback is J.C. Copeland. And with all that weight in front, Jeremy Hill picks it up to the 40-yard line. And he's saying, I rolled over that man, but it'll be brought back.
Well, if you go back to this, you say 22 personnel, and you're right, Tess. It's 2 tight ends, 2 backs. And that Copeland, really, it should be 23 personnel because he counts as 3 backs. Let's see if he was down. Let's see if he stays on top and doesn't touch. He's on top. He's on top.
Whoa, he may have a point here because there was another LSU player underneath him.
Well, watch, his hand counts. See if his wrist or shoulder or anything else. Oh, his forearm touched.
Yep, forearm is gonna get you. So a 1st down pass for Mettenberg as he goes to the fullback Copeland, and Copeland drags the defender to the 35-yard line. That was awfully close there with Jeremy Hill rolling over the 2 players.
You know, big old Copeland, 270-pound fullback, runs pretty well. Former defensive lineman. He's interesting because he's not afraid to take you up high and blow you up, but he'll also cut you. And sometimes he'll be an ankle biter. He mixes it up pretty well. It's a good player.
And to the 1st. Good atmosphere here in Starkville. LSU with a 5-point lead on the Dogs.
Yeah, that's my kind of night.
Never saw eye to eye on anything.
Anything. Then we discovered new 7-Up 10. Has all the great taste of 7-Up.
But with just 10 calories. So now we both get what we want.
Both! You have more room for the spoon. Oh, yes!
Both.
We couldn't be happier.
New 7-Up 10. Great 7-Up taste, 10 calories. Get both. Also available in these brands.
Same make, same model, same year. Different owners. Stop by Firestone Complete Auto Care for a free battery check. And if your ride needs a new battery, we'll give you $20 off. Whatever you drive, drive a Firestone.
Before they sat down, one more time, just for themselves. Before the last grandchild. Before the first grandchild.
Smile.
Before Katie, Debbie, Kevin, and Brad. There was a connection that started it all and made the future the wonderful thing it turned out to be. At Bank of America, we know we're not the center of your life, but we'll do our best to help you connect to what is.
It's college football season, and the orders are pouring in.
Sales spike, I'm happy.
Profits up, I'm happy.
Millions of fans, no time. I'm nervous.
Can we handle the logistics?
Use UPS. Digital tracking, proactive alerts, less paperwork. We save time, customers get what they need. Everybody's happy.
Buckeyes happy. Gators happy.
Hogs happy.
I'm happy.
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 It's a win.
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 I love logistics.
If you were an animal, which one would you be? With interview questions like these, it's no wonder companies hire the wrong person almost half the time. Today, smarter enterprises are increasing retention up to 43% by using data and analytics that help them better understand the right characteristics for each job and find the right person to do it. That's what I'm working on. I'm an IBMer. Let's build a smarter planet.
Watch college football live all season long on Watch ESPN. Download the app or visit watchespn.com.
ESPN College Football Primetime presented by Hampton Hotels, part of Tailgate Week, fired up by Kingsford Charcoal. As you're watching the SEC on ESPN. Joe Tessitore, Matt Millen, Maria Taylor with you. This LSU offense so improved this year. 400 yards of offense in 5 straight games to open the season. First time they've done that in school history. They just had 208 total yards of offense in that first quarter alone.
8-man front, putting those corners out all by themselves.
Kenny Hilliard. And here goes Hilliard, a race to the corner. And Hilliard stretches out and gets in. Touchdown, Kenny Hilliard. That was a good block by Connor Neighbors. And Hilliard has 2 rushing touchdowns tonight.
Same thing, Tess. When you have just one safety beat, now that's some good job. That's an outstanding job by the LSU offensive line of just powering that defensive line. They mauled them that time. That was the difference in the play.
LSU offense continues to be so impressive. 3 possessions, 3 touchdowns, a 34-yard touchdown run by Kenny Hilliard. 21-9, number 10, LSU.
Driving would be so much easier if trouble would just tell you it was there. But it doesn't. So the new Buick Enclave has a rear view camera with available rear cross traffic alert and side blind zone alert. Just one more way, the new Buick Enclave is smart, made beautiful.
More Tostitos Cantina chips at table 3.
Waiter.
Hey, babe, how are you?
What are all these people doing in your apartment?
They think it's an actual Mexican restaurant.
Tostitos, Cantina, chips, and salsa. Real restaurant taste, wherever your party's at.
This Friday, entertainment has a new name. Machete.
Fuck her up, lover boy!
Can I get an amen on that?
Machete Kills. Rated R. Starts Friday.
Go, go, go! Whoa, whoa! Battle's over. We got our PlayStation 4s a while ago. Got here early.
You should have been there.
Play the future first. Grab a Taco Bell $5 box, and you could win a PlayStation 4 before it's released.
You already enjoy the best in entertainment with Charter TV. For even greater value, add internet and phone with the Charter Double Play. Get Charter Internet and get the speeds you need. Phone company DSL speeds are slower, meaning you'll see a lot of this instead of this. At up to 30 megabits per second, Charter Internet is 10 times faster with more bandwidth to support more devices than other providers, meaning the whole family can be online all at the same time. Get Charter Internet for $29.99 a month. Call 855-574-4687. Tired of your phone bill looking like this? Stop worrying about counting minutes. Add Charter Phone and get unlimited local and long-distance calling. And with Charter, there are no added fees like the phone company charges. Plus, get 13 popular calling features like voicemail and call forwarding. Free. Charter Phone for $19.99 per month. Add internet and phone with the Charter Double Play. Get a better deal with no contracts and a 30-day money-back guarantee. Call 855-574-4687 now.
Who has won 13 straight against Mississippi State, and they're doing it with the ground game tonight. Told you earlier, the plan for Mississippi State when it came to their quarterbacks. Now that didn't hold form early on as Dak Prescott had some early success, but now Tyler Russell has that helmet on, the senior who is ready to go after missing the last 3 starts. Left the opening week game against Oklahoma State with a concussion. They think of him as being the better passer. Now, Prescott had some success early against this LSU defense, Matt, but he was able to run the ball with 50 yards of rushing and that long 28-yard touchdown run. But we'll see what Russell offers up here in moments.
That's the LSU defense has supreme confidence in their matchup with these receivers from Mississippi State. So he's going to get a lot of man coverage. He's going to have to throw into tiny windows.
Most storied conference in college athletics will live on a new network. Tradition has found a new home. It's the SEC Network, launching August 2014. For more information, you can go to getsecnetwork.com. So here is Tyler Russell. He was set to start actually week 3 against Auburn. Was warming up pregame, but a team doctor didn't clear him, so he sat. Sees his first action tonight here early in the second quarter.
Checking at the line of scrimmage.
And Russell pressured and taken down, his first moments back, and he goes down with Freak Johnson getting after him. There's the big freak, 6'3", 294.
Anthony Johnson, number 90. He's a legitimate player, and this is the matchup they were looking for right here, right on the inside. That's against Ben Beckwith. Beckwith needs help inside.
Yeah, he's a former walk-on going up against a guy who's going to be cashing an NFL paycheck.
Yeah, and so he needs the center's help. They're going to have to bring the center to him and put Jackson over there one-on-one.
Josh Robinson cuts back against the grain, and a nice effort by Robinson all the way out to the 39-yard line, and a first down for Mississippi State. 20-yard run for Josh Robinson.
That's great balance by Robinson. Watch this. It's just a counter OF. They bring the guard and the fullback around. And then watch this. He just refuses to go down. Great balance.
Got that low center of gravity.
He does.
5'9", 225. He's like a little bowling ball out there.
Norm Boulash. There's a name for you.
I love it. First down now. And Russell going to tuck and run. And Russell gets his shoulder down at the 45-yard line where he's tackled by Ego Ferguson.
Five receivers, he's spreading them all out.
2nd and 5. Complete for a first down to Lewis, and Lewis in open space is effective as he gets to the 35-yard line, tackled by White.
So this is what Dan Mullen likes, okay? So they'll take the 5 receivers, they spread the field. And what that does, it takes Jamion Lewis, number 4, in the slot with a lot of green. So you bump a backer over to him, and he'll just eat you alive. Whether sometimes it's a nickel, doesn't make a bit of difference who it is. He has great. He's like Wes Welker. He's that kind of guy. He's quicker than fast. He can make you miss and create separation.
He's a do-it-all kind of receiver. That green line you see there is the field goal range for Devin Bell, the Mississippi State sophomore kicker. And then we're going to get a timeout here used by Mississippi State. So Tyler Russell back to action for Dan Mullen's offense, and he's moving the ball fairly well.
Okay, ladies, grab a knee. I got somebody I want y'all to meet. He's a real leader, and he's going to help us turn this thing around in the second half.
Affleck. Affleck. Affleck, 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 Affleck. Affleck!
That's what I'm talking about!
Affleck. Affleck.
You feel me? Yeah! Bring it in!
If you get sick or injured, we do everything we can to help you get back in the game. Affleck, an official partner of the Heisman Trophy.
People expect sandwich shops to make food fast. So how long do they think the meat on Arby's Smokehouse Brisket is smoked?
Maybe an hour? 2 hours? 3 hours?
What if I told you that Arby's brisket is smoked for at least 13 hours?
That's longer than I smoke my meat.
It's going to be a munchitation situation.
Arby's tender brisket is smoked with hickory wood for at least 13 hours. The new Smokehouse Brisket Sandwich. Freshly sliced in store and topped with melty smoked Gouda cheese. Craveable brisket, ready when you are. Arby's.
Slice it up freshness.
The age of the oversized luxury car is about to give way to a smarter, more nimble breed. Introducing the Buick Encore. Clearly, the next big thing in luxury is small. Buick Encore is J.D. Power's highest-ranked subcompact CUV in initial quality.
So I can reach Ally Bank 24/7, but there are no branches?
24/7.
I'm sorry, I'm just really reluctant to try new things.
Really? What's wrong with trying new things?
Look, Mommy's new vacuum.
You feel that in your muscles?
Drink water. It's a long story.
Well, not having branches lets us give you great rates and service.
I'd like that.
A new way to bank, a better way to save. Ally Bank. Your money needs an ally.
ESPN College Football Primetime. Brought to you by Aflac, official partner of the Heisman Trophy. And Arby's. Try the new Smokehouse Brisket Sandwich today.
I call that grill your bash off is what they called that last night. Millen. Oh, there's Miss Maroon. You see Miss Maroon there with the tiara? Those are the local celebrity judges for that grilling contest here in Starkville. I don't think that's grilled pizza. But they're enjoying this. Just keep popcorn away from these fans. Trust us. Still trying to find out who that guy in the Pacific Northwest is. First down here for Tyler Russell.
His buddies know. Trust me.
Little option game here, and Russell cuts back. Look at Russell putting that 220 pounds into it. Getting about 5 extra yards and a first down for Mississippi State to the 20 as he just came straight into Ronald Martin.
Dan Mullen likes what he sees out of that spread. That's a second play in a row. Ooh, he did lower his shoulder. He lowered it big.
Josh Robinson, he lost his footing on the exchange that time.
Tyler Russell is not as an accomplished runner as what you've seen in Dak Prescott. It's not like he's void of run skills. A little bit better thrower. But right now, they're just spreading everything out. He's reading the box inside, looking for numbers, and if it's there, he takes it.
Remember, he's the guy that led them to that 7-0 record before they fell flat at Alabama last year. Had 24 touchdown passes in 2012. But Dan Mullen letting both guys get some playing time here. Prescott and Russell. Prescott had success on the ground. Russell trying to figure out his end of this dueling banjos of Mississippi State quarterbacks. Second down pass is incomplete. Looking for Johnson. That was coverage by White that time, who slapped it away from Robert Johnson.
All right, when they're having success, this Mississippi State team, this offensive line does a good job. And where it really happens is the inside three. Dylan Day, their center, number 63. I like to call him D-Day. Old D-Day inside. He's all tatted up. Very smart kid. He's the quarterback of that offensive line. He's got to get everybody set and put in place.
He's a fan favorite. All that ink on the pipes and fan favorite with the long hair. 3rd and 10. Play clock was winding down. Here's Russell now backing up, tossing it to the end zone, and to Jamian Lewis. Touchdown, Mississippi State. Oh, what touch by Tyler Russell.
He beat Corey Thompson. You just get him in the slot, Tess, and use that speed. Now watch the top of this route. Corey Thompson tried to avoid contact. And then Jamian Lewis does a fantastic job of getting that foot down. There's the catch, there's the foot, there's the 6.
A lot of offense early here in Starkville. Tyler Russell had to wait his turn, but once he got in, jackpot. 3rd touchdown catch of the year for Lewis.
He's taken on empires with the push of a button.
He leaked the whole database.
Oh my God.
This is information the world needs to know.
He's a threat to national security.
They're coming after us. Have to go.
5 seconds.
The Fifth Estate. Rated R.
Experience the Buick Verano Turbo with more horsepower than an Audi A4. And everything else seems a little slow.
We build tires, but not like anybody else. We build our tires for people, not just cars. So more than what your Cooper tires can do, it's about what you can do with your Cooper tires. Hurry in to get up to $80 back on 4 qualifying Cooper tires during our incredible Take the Money and Ride savings event. Get your reward form and complete terms and conditions at a participating Cooper Tire dealer or CooperTireRebates.com. Now's the time. Life's a road trip. Come on, let's go.
You know that guy that drives that limousine? Current events, comfortable temperature, biceps. He maintains everything for your pleasure. He has the nicest car you can think of, but longer. With one hand, he can roll down 10 windows, plus the partition. Everything he does, tax write-off. And of course he dines upon the liquid gold of Velveeta shells and cheese. End of story. Liquid gold. Eat like that guy you know.
Every generation has their Lees. These are yours. Introducing the new Lee Modern Series for Men. Designed to look better, crafted to fit better. This is legendary American denim. This is the new Lee.
Free Spirits, Tuesday at 8 on ESPN.
You're watching the SEC on ESPN. Jamian Lewis with a touchdown catch moments ago. Tyler Russell's first touchdown pass of the year.
Well, it all starts right up here. Look at this great job. Max protect. Look at our boy D-Day inside, number 63, along with Beckwith. Does a nice job. Now, I want you to watch Lewis at the top of the route, right there. Did you see that extra step? Just that extra step made Corey Thompson hesitate a tad. That created the separation, and then that was the difference in the play. He's allowed Tyler Russell to make that throw.
And now Tyler Russell ties the school's career record of 38 touchdown passes. Just came in here in the second quarter. Remember, missed the last 3 starts after being concussed opening week against Oklahoma State. So Dak Prescott started tonight. Odell Beckham Jr. backbeat for Bell's kick. 5 yards deep, he takes it out. Well, let's check in with Reese Davis. Reese, what do you got?
Joe, it's time for SportsCenter Right Now, brought to you by Ally Bank. The United States leads the President's Cup 11.5 to 6.5 over the international squad, largely because of this turning point. Zach Johnson on 15, backed that thing up and put it in the hole. Eagled from the fairway, and the Americans have the lead.
Thank you, Reese. So USA faring well there in the President's Cup. Here on this turf of choice, Zach Mettenberger has started his night 7 for 7, the LSU quarterback. There's Jeremy Hill on the pitch. And just a yard that time. Hill brought down by Calhoun.
That's a really well done job by Calhoun to recognize it. See, first you have to recognize it, then you have to diagnose it. Now you have to do something about it. Calhoun did all 3.
Play action. And that ball is intercepted by Nico Whitley. Chris Jones had pressure. They tried to set up the screen. Mettenberger threw a looper, and Whitley was underneath on the back end of that rainbow. Turnover, Mississippi State.
Watch Chris Jones, 96. He's 6'5", 310 pounds. He gets his hands up high. And because of that, Mettenberger has to dump it just a little too high. And then he comes through with the catch. He has his hands underneath. It never hits the ground. That's a catch and a pick.
Mettenberger started the game 7 for 7. And then that costly error. And now Dan Mullen switching things up as it's Dak Prescott back in at quarterback. And Prescott finds some room cutting back against the grain for a gain of about 8 yards.
Test one of two things. Either Dak Prescott is pretty nimble, or this LSU defense isn't tackling very well.
No, Quan Alexander missed one there. Came right in as helmet to helmet as Alexander came right in there.
That was he stuck him. Quan Alexander's a heck of a good young player.
And he's getting a start tonight with Taj Jones out with a hamstring injury. 2nd down and 2. Option to the top of your screen. Keeps it. Didn't pitch that time to Perkins, and he comes up a yard short as Daniil Hunter tackled Dak Prescott.
You know, every year, seemingly, LSU has outstanding defensive ends and down personnel, pass rushers. This kid's the next one. Daniil Hunter he's got what it takes. What he doesn't have is experience, and he needs it. But when you put the tape on this kid, he's got it.
No, he's physically impressive. 6'6", 241. He's got that NFL-type body there at defensive end. 3rd down and 1 for the Bulldogs. And around now with Lewis. And Lewis can't get to the edge. A flag is down at the 31.
The one thing you're not really going to do to this LSU defense is outrun them. They have guys who can fly all over the place.
Like Ronald Martin.
Well, Martin just tracked him from the inside out, walked him down.
Holding, offense, number 77. The penalty is 10 yards from the previous spot. Repeat, 3rd down.
Ronald Martin is playing some inspired ball this year. Dealt with tragedy earlier this year. Found out just before he took the field for the Kent State game that his father passed away. And he missed the Auburn game with those services, and he plays on this season in that defense. Third down and 11. They only bring 4. And that's incomplete.
He missed him.
As he was trying to find Joe Morrow. And he was covered by White.
He had White beat to the inside, had him leveraged. Got to the top of his route, came to the inside. There was no one there. That ball was thrown just behind him. Not a good thrower. Morrow had it. 4th down, Tess. Looks like they're going for it.
Well, Devin Bell, the kicker, is a career long of 47, and this would be 53 if they were attempt to field those. Good from 55 in warm-ups, but on 4th down and 11, they will go for it.
See if they don't take Perkins and spread him out, give you a 5 out. And there he goes. He's got him in the wheel.
And that was almost intercepted that time as Ronald Martin came in from that safety position with a little extra help.
That's all on the quarterback. That was wide open, and Prescott waited too long. And because he waited too long, Prescott allowed the safety to make the throw. It's open right now. You're going to watch him. Here we go. Watch. He's going to come up here in the wheel route. This thing gets open now. Throw the ball. He holds it. And just that,
just a hair of a second.
That's it. And that's all it takes. He knows it. He's open right now. That's a good job.
And that gave Martin the time to come over.
Exactly right. So when it's there, it's got to be done right away.
So the Mettenberger interception didn't cost him points on the board. That's off the hands of Beckham Jr. You don't see that often. Time for tonight's Aflac trivia question.
Aflac.
We ask you, since Les Miles' arrival back in 05, LSU's the winningest team in the SEC, 89-22. When was LSU's last losing season? Think about it. Such a great run for Coach Miles. Play action. Mettenberger just checks down to Hill, and Hill had nowhere to go. They say that ball came out to the Mississippi State defenders, but they're going to rule him down there as McKinney and Skinner were quick to get to Hill.
And it's going to end up being a 3rd and long. He's down long before that elbow put it down. But Mettenberger missed an open receiver in the slot. Nobody covered him. There was no one there. Ran down the middle of the field. Mettenberger missed him.
LSU is a perfect 4 for 4 on 3rd down conversions tonight. This is 3rd and 12.
They're messing up in the slot right now. Okay, now they undercut them.
Pressure came, and it brought Mettenberger down. That was Chris Jones, the freshman.
Chris Jones doesn't even know how good he can be yet. Jeff Collins knows how good he can be. This kid is a stud in the making. Big, powerful, watch the movement, and then the close. He's just a freshman, Tess. He's going to make a lot of plays for the next few years.
Dan Mullen said if we didn't offer him a scholarship, nobody would still know who he is.
They know who he is now.
Jamie Keene's punt. Boy, that was awkwardly retrieved by Jamie and Lewis. That was our first punt of the game. It's been offensively entertaining until Mr. Jones arrived to Mettenberger.
The days are getting shorter. Awesome. Now things can get started at Fridays even earlier. With an entree like Jack Daniel's sirloin and an appetizer for just $10. In here, it's always Friday.
Both Maxwell and Ted have hail damage to their cars. Ted is trying to get a hold of his insurance agent. Maxwell is not. He's on Geico.com setting up an appointment with an adjuster. Ted is now on hold with his insurance company. Maxwell is not and just confirmed a 5:30 time for Tuesday. Ted is still waiting.
Yes.
Maxwell is out and about with Ted's now ex-girlfriend.
Later, Ted!
Online claims appointments, just a click away on Geico.com.
Love drama? Tag a friend in that old photo.
Where's her busy hair?
Hate drama? Go to Cars.com. Our dealership reviews help you get the right car without all the drama. Cars.com. All drive, no drama.
Okay, it's the Built Ford Tough sales event, so let's crunch the numbers. See, when it comes to serious work like yelling timber, building stuff, and keeping America growing, the stats prove it. Ford F-Series leads the pack. Trucks with the most torque and most payload, plus F-150 with EcoBoost. No wonder Ford F-Series has been #1 36 years straight. That's why we own work.
Get 0% APR for 60 months plus $1,500 bonus cash on Super Duty. Only at your Southern Quality Ford dealer.
Boudreaux Jewelers, the place to find that special something for that special someone. If you don't see just what you want, our craftsmen can make it for you right here. For 3 generations, Boudreaux Jewelers has been producing the finest custom creations in the most exquisite materials. Treasured memories that last a lifetime get their start under a Boudreaux bow.
A gift from Boudreaux's Jewelers says it all.
Boudreaux Jewelers.
Been a long time for Mississippi State to come up with a win against LSU. Like, let's take you back to 1999. And you got the block punt there, and a safety in the 2nd quarter, and then the 4th quarter, Rod Gibson, 1-yard touchdown run. Jackie Sherrill celebrating. How about this interception to seal it? 17-16. Number 12 was Mississippi State back then. They went 10-2, won the Peach Bowl, which leads us back to our Aflac trivia question. When was LSU's last losing season? Well, that same year when they lost to the Bulldogs back in 1999. Of course, Les Miles, 9 years at LSU, and nothing but wins. Looking to bounce back after that loss to Georgia last week. 20-1 under Les Miles. After a loss are the Tigers. Here's Tyler Russell now back at quarterback. Nice. And Russell gets it to Lewis, and Lewis fakes out 2 LSU would-be tacklers and goes ahead for 14 yards.
Yes. Maria and I were here Thursday. We have an LSU Tiger down. And Damian Lewis, he had a tough time holding on to the ball. Well, let me tell you something. He must have put a little stick him on those hands or something, because we know he's quicker in a hiccup. But his hands tonight are exactly what they should be. He is the what they can't cover him. They're giving him option routes, and when an option out route means is no matter what the defender does, you just go beat him. So he holds inside, you go outside. He goes outside, defender holds outside leverage, you break it to the inside. He's playing a whale of a game tonight.
That's Jordan Allen, defensive end for LSU, as the medical staff tends to him. Had himself a really good-looking fall camp. Les Miles has Daniil Hunter rotating in with the defensive ends, who probably get a little more playing time. And it looks like that you can see the lower leg.
Looks like he took a helmet to the knee right there.
So as they tend to Jordan Allen, gives us a chance to remind you that you can get your NFL Sunday started with Sunday NFL Countdown. Begins at 10 a.m. on ESPN. Give you the latest news right up to kickoff. And Richard Sherman's going to sit down with Darren Woodson, the star Seahawks defensive back. And then get your lineup set for fantasy football with Fantasy Football Now, starting at 11 a.m. on ESPN2.
Boy, how good is that Seahawk defense
Aren't
playing?
they something?
And Sherman's a big part of it. You know, everybody got on him about because he was yakking too much and all that stuff. That kid backs it up. He comes to play. You better have your A game when you line up against him.
Russell, play action. Going to take a shot downfield. And he connects that time with Wilson. And Wilson will bring it in for the score. Darunya Wilson. Looks like he separated a little bit right before the catch with Tre'Davious White. 59-yard touchdown pass from Tyler Russell.
Let me interpret what separate means.
That's a euphemism
for pushing off. Watch
right
this down the bottom. Actually, he wasn't bad.
He didn't extend the arms all the way, and that's why he doesn't get the call. Those elbows never went all the way out.
Yeah, that's not a bad
Just
job by Darunya.
Separation, we'll call it.
That kid's raw, but talented.
And Mississippi State has stormed back. 23-21.
You want to make your coach happy? Keep making plays.
Mullen is amped up.
At Mississippi State University, our students are change agents. They are changing landscapes, changing skylines, changing environmental outcomes, changing circumstances, changing attitudes. And through change, our students become something more. Mississippi State University. Our story is changing lives.
Joe Tessitore, Matt Millen, Maria Taylor with you here in Starkville. Mississippi State head coach Dan Mullen said, hey, we got to take some shots. They just took one, and it landed. Darunya Wilson.
A basketball player in high school test. They found him. They liked him. They thought they could convert him to the outside as a receiver, and they were right.
Look at the big plays we've already had tonight. If you ever wanted to know what 55,000 cowbells sound like, that's what you're hearing in the background right now, as Les Miles, I think, was having a conversation similar to what we were having about what happened.
His might have a little different twist than the one we had.
Saltier about Darunya Wilson's ability to get free that time, but he didn't fully extend the arms. And that's what the officials often look for in a spot like that.
So you'll learn as a receiver and as a defender, when you're going to start moving other people, you always stay down low on the hips. For all you high school kids out there, if you have to push, you push down low.
You got a lot of tools on that veteran tool belt of yours.
Oh, yeah. I may have used that a few times.
Here's Beckham Jr. And just gets beyond the 23-yard line. Reese, we got a good one here down in Starkville.
That's not the only place Joe got a pretty good one in the swamp. Arkansas hanging in against Florida. But Lou Holtz's favorite quarterback, Tyler Murphy, to Solomon Patton, 51 yards. And the Gators are up 17-7 just before the half on ESPN2.
Tyler Murphy from Wethersfield, Connecticut High School. Holtz must have been recruiting Wethersfield when he was assistant at UConn back about 50 years ago.
Skip was recruiting him.
And, of course, his son ended up being the head coach of the Huskies back in the 90s. Here's Mettenberger. And going up for it and bringing it down is Jarvis Landry. So talented is Landry.
I'll tell you, that is outstanding coverage by Cedric Giles, number 13. Watch, he stays right on him. Get the bump. Stay in that hip. When he goes up, you go up. I mean, ooh, that may have dropped there. Let's see this at the end. Oh, no, he kept his hand all over it. Yeah. That's great coverage.
With that left hand.
But Landry's special.
Jeremy Hill. And Hill was tracked down that time by Ryan Brown. And good night to start for Mettenberger, but then that defense started amping up.
Well, he'll settle himself down. That's the one thing you've seen with him this year. That's another thing that was improved was consistency. His highs aren't too high, his lows aren't too low.
Second and 6. Alfred Blue. And a tackle for loss again. That front four is really getting after it.
It's P.J. Jones.
And P.J. Jones in there
Preston
too.
Smith in there. Now let's keep our eyes on the big freshman again. Oh, Chris Jones, number 96. He has movement skills to stay outside at end, and when they move him down inside, he's a beast.
Remember, he had that big sack on third down last time out. 3rd and 8.
Oh, my.
He just ran him over, and they come up short that time. Good coverage by Jamerson Love. Jarvis Landry couldn't get free. Chris Jones just pancaked.
He is just a man-child. Watch this number 96 on the top side. He's going against Gerald Hawkins, the right tackle. He just mauls him. And that forces a quick throw because Mettenberger wanted to go beyond the sticks, but he can't. So the ball comes back underneath the Landry, and the Love Machine, number 5, does a great job of bringing him down. Did I just say Love Machine? Sorry.
Let it go, Millen. Let it go. There's Jamie Keene on the punt. Oh, and they got a shot here, but it bounces a little too high into the end zone. Chris Jones, star is born with a freshman at Mississippi State. Good hands play is brought to you by Allstate.
Mettenberger back underneath. Nico Whitley, number 1, just makes a fingertip catch, and that is good for our good hands play.
3rd interception of the year for Whitley. He's a guy that can bring the hammer. Hard hitter. Comes up with a pick there, though. Tyler Russell still the quarterback here. Well, Darius Perkins check in with Reese Davis.
Got a good one on ABC, too, Joe. Northwestern and Ohio State after a turnover. The Cats strike Trevor Siemian to the other quarterback, Kane Coulter. And look at the Cats on top early on ABC.
One of those days, isn't it, in college football? Some of the big teams getting some tests. Georgia barely escaped in overtime, and now number 4 Ohio State trailing early there in Evanston.
Damian Lewis right here in the slot down below on the linebacker.
2nd and 6, plenty of time for Russell. He goes underneath. It'll be 3rd and about 2 that time as he finds Robert Johnson. DJ Welter with the tackle of Johnson. We got a 2-quarterback system up there in Northwestern finding success, and here at Mississippi State as they lead number 10 by 2 with a couple minutes before the half.
Oh, my.
Oh, he just threw it too far to the inside on Damian Lewis. He had plenty of room, too, to pick up that first down and a lot more.
That's not on the court. I mean, that's not on Lewis. Lewis beat the linebacker like a drum. I mean, that's Lamine Barrow. You're walking a linebacker out. That's a complete mismatch. You can't miss that throw. That's completely on Tyler Russell.
And now Baker Swedenberg on to punt. Mississippi State's first punt of the night. And Odell Beckham Jr., who has 2 punt returns for touchdowns, back to return at the 30-yard line. And he calls for the fair catch at the 29. And what else you got, Reese?
Joe, I've got an entire Buick halftime report coming up. It was a thriller on Rocky Top. Might be just as thrilling as the one we're watching in the SEC tonight. Boy, Jameis Winston has arrived. Waited until you see what he did to Maryland if you haven't seen it already. And it was a day of great grabs, some spectacular one-handed catches. We'll show as many of them to you as we can coming up in a bit. Blue and Mark will get out of their comfy sweaters in a bit.
I think that was one of the wow scores everybody was reacting to throughout the day. Reese talked about what Florida State and Jameis Winston did to Maryland against a pretty decent upstart Maryland team. What a statement the Noles made. Jeremy Hill dragging Caleb Ewells forward that time for 8 yards. Speaking of one-handed catches, and Reese mentioned that, did you see Odell Beckham last week on kickoff return? Watch the back of the end zone last week against Georgia on this 70-plus yard kick. Watch what he does, Millen. What?
Oh, man. It's amazing.
Is this kid something or what? He's already got 89 yards here in this first half. 2nd and 1. And they pick up the first down as they go to Travis Dixon, the tight end.
So now Mettenberger and LSU decide to spread out, which I think is a smart move here because their receivers, their skill people are a little bit better than what Mississippi State has. And Mississippi State's keeping a 2-deep shell. They're not going to get beat deep over the top.
Now here's just underneath the Hill. Jeremy Hill. Look at Hill all the way inside the 40-yard line, right to that green line, which is the field goal range for one Colby Delahousse. 18-yard reception for Hill. So right now, they're right at the field goal range. Look at the sidearm from Mettenberger.
This is smart by Mettenberger. Now he sees everybody run off. Safeties are sitting deep. You have a lot of green in the middle.
So just over a minute to play. Mettenberger. That quick strike goes incomplete as he was looking for Boone. It's covered by Cox that time. And there is Delahousse. Will he get a shot here? Remember, 1 timeout remaining, 59 seconds in the half or less, Miles, because they had to use those timeouts early. A little confusion with the play clock earlier in this first half.
Need Chris Jones here.
2nd down pass is complete for a first down to Landry. That'll stop the clock and move the chains.
Jamerson Love is in good position. Landry just goes and gets the ball. I mean, he gets inside position, The ball's where it has to be, but Love's right there.
Mettenberger's taking a shot for Boone. Just beyond the reach of Cadron Boone.
And Giles with good coverage.
Les took a peek at that clock. 44 seconds remain, 2nd and 10, the one timeout. Already well within field goal range of Colby Delahousse, who going to this left side with a little bit of a breeze was good from 53 in warm-ups. See the night on Mettenberger, see if he can cap this first half with something here.
You got Boone up there all alone again, singled up. Nobody over the top.
Let's see if he looks that way. Instead, he goes underneath to Beckham Jr., who fights for just 2 yards. Remember, clock is running down, just that one timeout. Calhoun came up with the play defensively against Odell Beckham Jr.
Calhoun, Tess.
LSU.
That was a great read by Calhoun. As soon as he saw that it was going to be the quick, he drove on it and beat the block, which was coming back. He slipped back underneath it. We're seeing some really good defense right here.
Here's the thing we're seeing. High-intensity play on both sides. There's a certain something in the air down here in Starkville. Georgia got a taste of it with Tennessee. They're coming off the thriller. Now they get hungry SEC underdogs under the lights.
We're seeing excellent quarterback play. We saw it early, outstanding quarterback play. Then the defense kind of bowed up a little bit, kind of took it away, got some pressure. Now we're settling into what this game is, and we got a humdinger for you.
LSU trying to get some points on the board here. Just over a half minute to play in the first half. Humdinger is Eastern Pennsylvania for a good game.
It comes out of Hackendaqua.
Is that where that's from?
What a great scene, Tess. This is great college football right here.
Play clock running down. Mettenberger gets it off and gets it complete. And Landry is right at the sticks.
Ooh, he looks like he's going to be short, according to that
It's going to depend on that spot. Remember, that yellow line is unofficial. And they are moving the chains.
Tight.
Here's Mettenberger to the end zone. Touchdown, Odell Beckham Jr.
Calhoun, who had been playing him pretty darn tough. Watch this. He's in the air. Calhoun doesn't have a chance. His feet are still on the ground. That is outstanding receiver play. He goes up and gets it at its highest point. That's what you teach all the time, and that's what is the difference in the play.
This kid's just an incredible talent, Millen.
It's a great throw, too, from Mettenberger.
So LSU comes down the field, runs a little 2-minute offense, and oh, that clap, that familiar clap of Coach Miles.
Yeah, that's my kind of night.
It's the acceptance letter, studying under the oaks, azaleas in the spring, Tiger Stadium in the fall, groundbreaking research committing to the cause, amazing discoveries, a crawfish bowl with friends grooving on the grounds, Tiger Stripes, love your alma mater, is walking across that stage, the time of your life, love purple, live gold.
Joe Tessitore, Matt Millen, Maria Taylor with you here in Starkville as LSU just took the lead 28-23. Odell Beckham Jr. with 6 catches, 105 yards, and a touchdown catch as Zach Mettenberger was able to connect with him on that third down play that Boy, defensive coordinator Jeff Collins, he was getting after it.
Oh, well, he saw what we saw from up here. And so he jumped on the field only to be reprimanded. He's like, oh, sorry, my bad.
He wanted to go out there and play.
Oh, because he saw exactly what they were doing. Sometimes you can see it, you know it, but you can't communicate it. And when the official gets after you, that's kind of double.
Jarvis Landry taking maybe an early walk to the locker room for Coach Les Miles. He's got that offense in gear, revving this year indeed.
It's a nice throw. He puts it up in one spot, nice and high, and just lets Beckham go up and get it. Beckham does a fantastic job, like I mentioned earlier. When you have a ball up like that, Tess, you got to get it at its highest point.
Already his 4th 100-yard receiving game this season. He does it in the first half here tonight at Mississippi State. As Lewis will just take the touchback, leaving 17 ticks on the clock. Dak Prescott started. Tyler Russell's been impressive here in the second, but early on it was Prescott on the ground, Matt.
Yeah, and Prescott was quick to notice what the coverage was, and then his feet did the rest of the work. And he did it to the tune of 6 points. And then in comes, it was still, he was throwing BBs at the beginning.
He really
of this
was
game.
early on. And then Tyler Russell, who was out the last 3 games with a concussion, you know, not too bashful about lowering the shoulder. And then he went to the air and threw for 117 yards, a couple of touchdown strikes here in the second quarter. And now Russell
waited too long.
He's just going to ground that thing and leave 11 seconds left.
Did Robert Johnson on a comeback. You can't wait for him to start running back. That ball has to be out. You can take a good look at the numbers here. See, Tyler Russell's got the buck 17. But the one thing that I noticed that Prescott he'll get rid of the ball a little bit quicker. Tyler Russell's been holding on to the ball just a little too much. A couple times, you know, he had that wheel route that he held on, and then this comeback down here and he held on. That ball's got to come out a little quicker and he'll have completions.
Boy, back and forth they went here in this first half. That was an impressive last drive before the half by Zach Mettenberger and LSU, as he found Odell Beckham Jr. And LSU has a 28-23 lead here in Starkville. Let's go down to the field to Maria.
Coach, you've seen an interchangeable Dak Prescott and Tyler Russell. How do you best account for that 2-quarterback system?
Well, Russell ran the option, and Dak's running it as well. So it's really very similar offense. We have to defend both guys. It's not changing much of anything, to be honest.
You just saw your offense go on the field and take the lead with 17 seconds left. What did you see in that series?
Well, I like the way we're down the field. Certainly, we were trying to put ourselves in position to kick a field goal and then take a shot. The shot obviously turned into points.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
5-point lead for Les Miles and number 10 LSU. They got 334 yards of total offense. 28-23 here in Starkville for the Tigers. Now let's join Reese Davis, Lou Holtz, and Mark May back in the studio for the Buick halftime report. Gentlemen, take it away.
Joe, I'm going to let you in on something that all the LSU fans know already. When Mettenberger's spinning the magic bean, taking the shot winds up in touchdowns a lot lately. 28-23, just another routine SEC shootout. So, of course, that means we've got defense and special teams in the Big Ten game?
Absolutely.
On ABC right now, Ohio State and Northwestern. Buckeyes up 3-0. Did somebody say defense? Look at this play by Tyler Scott. Old 97 from Northwestern making the play, forcing Braxton Miller to fumble. Wildcats have lived on turnovers. Lou, Trevor Siemian to Kane Coulter.
Oh, that's unbelievable. One quarterback to the other quarterback.
That's right. Coulter's played quarterback most of the night. Siemian's the better thrower. But here a block punt, great play by Bradley Roby.
You got to be smarter as a punter. Take one step and get rid of it. You know the rush is coming.
Did you really just say a Northwestern kid needs to be smarter?
Absolutely. In that play, sure.
10-7, Ohio State has the lead. It's on ABC. What a barn burner on Rocky Top. But this was a tough day in many ways for Georgia. Keith Marshall took the low hit. Now, Todd Gurley was already sitting out this game. He'd had an ankle injury. Marshall did not return to the game. It looked like a significant knee injury to his right knee. Injuries weren't over for Georgia, unfortunately, on the day. No, Aaron Murray finds Chris Conley. This is a fine catch. Murray later breaks the SEC career record for passing yards. Georgia was in control with 17-10, but again, a special teams breakdown, Luke.
Another breakdown for Georgia's special teams. We talked about that each and every week. One time it's a field goal block, next time punt block, etc. Give Tennessee the momentum right here.
Tennessee was feeling it, and Georgia, they might not have given up this touchdown on purpose to Rajon Neal, but that worked out pretty well for them because it gave Aaron Murray a chance. Brendan Douglas was having to play because Gurley was in street clothes, and you saw Marshall got hurt. The freshman takes it for 32 yards inside the 15. 8 seconds left. Georgia's dreams hanging in the balance. Murray to Rantavius Wooten, tied at 31. Now, Pig Howard's going to get the fly sweep in overtime Mayday, and he stretched the ball toward the pylon.
Got to protect the ball in this situation. Put 2 hands on it. Secure the ball first.
It was not a touchdown. They looked at it on review and rightfully ruled it a touchback as Howard loses the ball, fumbles it through the end zone or out of the end zone, out of bounds. Georgia ball still tied at 31. And then Marshall Morgan, who some kicking experts say is the best kicker in the country, toe meets leather, and they stepped on their face with a hobnail boot and broke their nose. 34-31 again in overtime. Now, I mentioned that there were other injuries for Georgia. They lost Justin Scott Wesley. Still waiting to see how bad that is. Michael Bennett, who was lost last year, another wide receiver, was hurt. You already know that Malcolm Mitchell's been hurt. So what does this mean for Georgia going forward if we assume that all of those guys, including Keith Marshall, are done?
That you put the ball in your general's hand, and that's Aaron Murray. He made plays in this game, not only with his arms. He had a 57-yard run to keep Georgia into this football game. He had 3 touchdown passes. He was the leader on the football field. When they needed a play that need to be made, Aaron Murray made the play for Georgia, and I think that's key. Everyone knows he's the leader of this football team. He's going to carry them.
Georgia was very lucky to win this football game. I think they'll be the first to acknowledge it, and consequently, I think it'll have great motivating factor going forward. Having the loss of all those receivers makes it difficult, but one thing has to happen. The defense for Georgia has to step up and play better.
Now, one thing that people on the outside, sometimes if you're not involved with the two teams in the game, they hate to hear about the hangover effect. It was obvious in Knoxville. Tough to come back from an emotional, physical game like Georgia and LSU. And LSU is seeing that a little bit tonight against Mississippi State. Those Bulldogs are certainly playing well and hoping for a signature victory. Oregon had some trouble in the first half with Colorado, but trouble for Oregon is a relative term. We'll also show you what Florida is able to do. Look at old Ralphie running.
Could you pass the salt?
Sure.
Does luxury always need this much space?
Thank you.
Perhaps not. Introducing the all-new Buick Encore with an available heated steering wheel and flexible cargo space. The next big thing in luxury is small.
People expect sandwich shops to make food fast. So how long do they think the meat on Arby's Smokehouse Brisket is smoked?
Maybe an hour? 2 hours? 3 hours?
What if I told you that Arby's Brisket is smoked for at least 13 hours?
That's longer than I smoke my meat.
It's going to be a munchitation situation.
Arby's Tender Brisket is smoked with hickory wood for at least 13 hours. The new Smokehouse Brisket Sandwich. Freshly sliced in store and topped with melty smoked Gouda cheese. Craveable brisket, ready when you are. Arby's.
Slices up freshness.
I want to watch a drama, like Battlestar Galactica.
Hey, you guys are back. Is it Sunday morning already?
Sunday night.
Sunday night.
Have you guys not moved since Thursday? Gross.
This TV keeps recommending shows. We started off a little X-Files, which took us to Lost, and then got us, obviously, to the original Battlestar Galactica.
Starbuck was better as a man.
Did you guys have was it fun?
Now a TV that recommends what to watch. This is Smart TV from Samsung.
Okay, ladies, grab a knee. I got somebody I want y'all to meet. He's a real leader, and he's gonna help us turn this thing around in the second half.
Affleck. Affleck. Affleck, 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 Affleck. Affleck!
That's what I'm talking about!
Affleck. Affleck.
You feel me? Yeah! Bring it in!
If you get sick or injured, we do everything we can to help you get back in the game. Aflac, an official partner of the Heisman Trophy.
passion has found a new home. The SEC Network. Show your conference pride. Go to GetSECNetwork.com.
Welcome back to the Buick Halftime Report.
Maryland and Florida State. Florida State already up 14-0. Jameis Winston had himself a day. Finds big Kelvin Benjamin. And then in the third quarter, Winston makes one of those plays, Mark, that'll go on your highlight reel.
He's like Houdini on this play. He gets pressured, 6'4", 220 pounds. Look at this defense. He's got him right here. Watch the big fella at the quarterback position using his strength and his power to get out of there. Then the defenders try to catch him, uses his speed, but he's still looking down the field of play, throws a dart for a touchdown.
He's got some pretty good receivers that help him out too there, Coach.
Oh, he does that. Anytime a quarterback has great efficiency, receivers are making great plays as well.
How about Nick O'Leary? That's Jack Nicklaus's grandson. Made that catch. He had a couple nice plays in that 63-0 shellacking that Florida State put on Maryland. Let's compare J-Boo, that's what they call Winston, to the other guys who've won the Heisman Trophy in recent years. Touchdowns responsible for and turnovers. Winston stacks up pretty favorably to Johnny Football, RG3, and Cam.
Well, let's put him in the Hall of Fame.
Give him a little love.
I am, but wait.
2 weeks. 2 weeks from tonight, we'll know.
Okay.
They play Clemson,
You're right,
Florida State and Clemson. TCU and Oklahoma. Oklahoma 3-0, 4th and 3. They go for it. Blake Bell, Ron Neal. Different team with the Belldozer at quarterback.
He's a different quarterback. The team reacts differently to him. Nice run here.
Trey Millard goes in. 13-0. Boomer. You know who they've got coming up next. Texas. Red River rivalry, but David Ash is not going to play in that game. He's already missed 2.5 games with a head injury. Apparently, symptoms from the concussion. Ash did not play against Iowa State on Thursday night. Will not be ready to go against Oklahoma either, so Case McCoy will get the start again for the Longhorns. Jeremy Hill is a load. The LSU's had a load of trouble in the first half. Bayou Bengals by 5 at the break.
This halftime report is presented by the all-new Buick Encore. The next big thing in luxury is small.
This is our washer. It's on layaway.
Why layaway? Take it home today at Rent-A-Center and pay it off while you enjoy it at home.
Discover card. I missed a payment. Oh, shoot, this is bad. No, we're good. This is your first time missing a payment. And you've got the IT card, so we won't hike up your APR for paying late. That's great. It is great. Thank you.
At Discover, we treat you like you'd treat you. Get the IT card with late payment forgiveness.
Hold on, man. Is that a leak up there? That's a drip. Now that's a leak. And if you don't have Allstate Renters Insurance, game over.
Combine your renters and auto with Allstate for as low as $4 a month. Call an Allstate agent and get a quote now.
Here you go. Adaptive One Brakes, guaranteed noise-free for life.
Noise-free?
Yeah, thanks to Napa know-how.
Hey, Brakes. Dude, sorry about last night. You're still mad at me?
They don't make a sound.
Brakes. Come on, hug it out. Hug it out. Insist on Adaptive One Brakes.
I was made to work, make my mark with pride, create moments of value, build character through quality, and earn the right to be called a classic. The Land's End No Iron Dress Shirt, starting at $49.
Why is it better to get what you want now instead of later?
Because you don't want to wait to eat your raisins.
You don't want to wait to eat your raisins?
No.
Why not?
Because they'll turn into grapes.
Not sure that's the way it works.
Yes.
Are you competing for cutest kid right now?
Yes.
And what place are you in?
Kindergarten?
That's adorable.
It's not complicated. Now is better, and AT&T is the nation's fastest and now most reliable 4G LTE network.
Get ready for a huge Week 5 slate of games with Sunday NFL Countdown.
If you can get in the guy's head, go for it.
As Richard Sherman stares down Andrew Luck and the Colts, the Seahawks defensive back on how to get inside his opponent's head.
Just use words they ain't never heard. Be like, yeah, go Google that later. I know you don't got that one in your vocab.
Plus, they wrote the soundtrack for his life.
I identified with their themes.
As former Saint Steve Gleason battles ALS, he gets a unique opportunity.
I think that's what
people appreciate is, the group.
Exclusive excerpts of his time with his favorite band, Pearl Jam. Only on Sunday NFL Countdown, 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN. Now over to Mike Tirico and John Gruden and Monday Night Football.
Boomer, thank you. John, the Falcons quarterback Matt Ryan's 1-3. He's never been 1-3 with the Falcons or even back to his BC days. So some concerns down here. Meantime, with the Jets, their second-round pick Geno Smith out of West Virginia, it's 2-2, but it hasn't been smooth so far.
No, but the Falcons are concerned with Geno Smith because he can run and pass, and he's made some big plays down the field with his passing arm. But for the Jets to win, Geno's got to take better care of the football. These turnovers are killing the Jets.
2-2 Jets, 1-3 Falcons. See you Monday, 8:25 Eastern.
Undefeated Oregon. Once beating Colorado, 15-10 game. Marcus Mariota's going to find Braylon Addison. Now Oregon now scored 55 or more in 5 straight games. The only longer streak, Oklahoma in 2008, and that team scored more points than any team in the history of college football. 57-16, Ducks are rolling. Arkansas and Florida. Will Muschamp saying, gentlemen, I would like for you to try to improve your performance. Or something like that.
Not even close to that.
Luchez Purifoy pick 6.
Terrific job of reading the quarterback's eyes. He's going to take it the distance here for the pick 6.
And then, Blue, your guy, Tyler Murphy, making a difference to Solomon Patton.
The team responds very well to him. I hate to see what happened to Jeff Driscoll, but this young man just makes good decisions. The team responds, and here you get a big play right before the half. 23 seconds left in the half. They score.
You know where Tyler Murphy tries to get his team to respond next week, don't you? LSU. Auburn and Ole Miss. Speaking of pick 6, Robinson Threese's had a great season. Ellis Johnson's doing a wonderful job with the Tiger defense.
Tremendous job. They improve each and every week. They get better.
Auburn offense isn't bad either. Nick Marshall's going to run it in. And Chris Felica, the ace researcher, had a note on game day this morning. Last 12 teams to play Alabama, then have an SEC game the next week. 1-11. Ouch. Ole Miss doesn't rally. It's going to be 1-12. The Bear coming up with a big note like that. Coming up with a big catch, Odell Beckham. LSU is up by 5.
Man comes with a state-of-the-art casing. Care for it with Dove Men Plus Care Body Wash. It protects man's skin from dryness as it cleans. Warning, without proper protection, damage will occur. Dove Men Plus Care Body Wash. Skin care built in.
Your car. It's been your wingman, dining room, and best friend. Baby maker, and baby soother. At Pennzoil, we know it doesn't matter what you do in your car. It only matters what you put in it. That's why Pennzoil is designed to give you unsurpassed engine protection, so you can protect your car and the memories made in it. Buy 5 quarts of Pennzoil Platinum and a filter for $33.99 at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts.
The best part of Italy is the taste. Introducing Carrabba's Trio d'Italia. Now create your perfect trio with your choice of 3 favorites on one plate, with super salad for only $15.50 for a limited time. So hurry in to Carrabba's tonight.
Reel in the fun at the first annual Red Festival, October 5th and 6th at the North Shore Harbor Center in Slidell. Catch the Parish President's Cup Tournament weigh-in. Enjoy live music from Christian Surpass and Amanda Shaw. See live weigh-ins from the HT Pro Redfish Series. Enjoy Charter Captain seminars and Chef's Redfish cooking competition. And of course, there's plenty to do for the kids. Join us for the Red Festival, October 5th and 6th. Proceeds benefit Go Fish and the St. Tammany Fishing Pier. And you can learn more at fishthenorthshore.com.
After 42 years in business, one thing we all know, the bugs never sleep. So we get started pretty early around here. Yeah, I guess you could say bugs run in my blood. My dad, his dad before him, all J-Roy men. Yeah, long days on the North Shore for me and my partner. But pest control has its rewards.
Hi, Jake.
Hey, kiddo. J-Roy Pest Control. Man's best friend. Bug's worst enemy since 1971.
This halftime report is presented by the new Buick Enclave. It's smart made beautiful.
Rays and Red Sox. Red Sox have now jumped out 2-0 in the American League Division Series. They win it 7-4. Game 3 at Tampa Bay Monday night. Big Papi has his first career multi-home run game in the postseason. I'm telling you, end-to-out swing. Hand path needs to be end-to-out. Big Papi makes it going. Here's your hand path on the day. How about DeAndrew White of Alabama making this grab? And it was sort of part of a theme. Kenny Bell does it for Nebraska Mayday.
Oh, sweet one-handed grab. Beautiful.
And then you're going to see Chris Conley's catch of Georgia. Of the three, which was the best catch, Lou? They're all good.
I tell you, I see guys that can't catch it with two hands, let alone one.
The guy that caught one with two hands for a touchdown earlier was Kane Coulter of Northwestern when he was playing receiver, now playing quarterback against Ohio State on ABC, and he dances in. And look at the men in purple, 14-10. They lost 28-29 against Ohio State. Good one going on ABC. Notre Dame and Arizona State, Tommy Reese and Koyak. And that did give Notre Dame the lead, but Arizona State just regained the lead just before halftime. It's 13-7. High-octane football against Brian Kelly. Dak Prescott, a little high-octane running for the Bullies. They're down by 5. Second half's coming from Starkvegas.
Driving would be so much easier if trouble would just tell you it was there. But it doesn't. So the new Buick Enclave has a rear view camera with available rear cross-traffic alert and side blind zone alert. Just one more way, the new Buick Enclave is smart, made beautiful.
Let me tell you something. If you took away the money, if you took away the fame, if you took away the lifestyle and all the flash, what would you have left? Everything.
This is the best party ever.
That is an understatement.
So glad we finally got in.
This place is banging. Hope it's cool we sit at the bar. The other tables look taken.
Hey.
I'm sorry, do we know you?
These are the best in town.
The ambiance is strange, but the food is incredible.
This is our apartment.
Our apartment.
Oh.
Weird name for a restaurant. More chips, please, waiter.
Tostitos, Cantina, chips, and salsa. Real restaurant taste, wherever your party's at.
We never saw eye to eye on anything.
Anything. Then we discovered new 7-Up 10. Has all the great taste of 7-Up.
But with just 10 calories. So now we both get what we want.
Both! You have more room for the stove.
Oh, yes!
Both.
We couldn't be happier.
New 7-Up 10. Great 7-Up taste, 10 calories. Get both. Also available in these brands.
In this conference, they're great teams, great emotion. Each venue that you show up at is packed with the loyal following of the opponent. I just love the flow of the game. I like the idea that when I put offense, defense, or special teams on the field, that we get a chance for a big play and an opportunity to win. I coach because it's exactly what I've always wanted to do.
You're watching Tailgate Week, fired up by Kingsford Charcoal.
As we welcome you back to ESPN College Football Primetime, presented by Hampton Hotels, part of Tailgate Week, fired up by Kingsford Charcoal. Exciting night here in Starkville as you're watching the SEC on ESPN. Number 10 LSU with a 28-23 lead against the Bulldogs. Mettenberger's got himself a touchdown pass. We've seen Russell and Prescott both in for Mississippi State. Finding success brought to you by Expedia. Mettenberger early on was looking Odell Beckham Jr.'s way. He had 105 yards and a touchdown. Jeremy Hill went for a 69-yard touchdown run. 94 yards in the first half with that big blast. And LSU in a first half that had 51 combined points, 606 combined yards. They had 334 yards of total offense, Matt.
So now for the second half, it's pretty obvious what this
Mississippi State defense has to be able to do. They have to take away the big plays. They knew they were going to have problems with the receivers. They did not want to get Hill into this thing and have him become a factor, although knowing he could be. They've got to cut down on the big plays. If they can cut the big plays, they'll give themselves a shot.
Mississippi State will get the ball to start this second half as James Hairston will kick away, and Johnson and Lewis are back deep. Mettenberger was 16 of 20 for 211 yards in that first half. Had that good drive just before halftime with the touchdown score. And Lewis decides to take it out. And he fights his way out to the 28-yard line. So we got the Mississippi State offense here to start the second half, trailing by 5. I'll tell you, it's been the Mississippi State front four defensively that showed a surge.
In particular, Chris Jones, the talented freshman, who really doesn't even know what the heck he's doing yet, but when he figures it out, he's going to be amazing. On offense, Jamion Lewis.
Yep.
Lewis has been open all night. LSU has not figured out how to handle him with his option routes. Look for him here in this second half.
He just finds a little bit of space and does something with it. There he is, number 4, junior receiver for Mississippi State. And this is Prescott starting the second half, as he did to start the game. Let's check in with Maria.
Guys, Dan Mullen says he's not as concerned with those big plays that LSU's gotten because they're not blown coverages. He said LSU's not running around with gaping holes. At least they're covering the offense. He said he would be concerned if they weren't just coming over the top and making leaping plays, so he told his defense to be a little more gutsy. Now, as far as quarterbacks are concerned, he said he's going with the flow of the game, and he's going to continue to interchange both Prescott and Russell.
Starts with Prescott here, Maria. He was 3 of 8 passing for 25 yards in the first half. Did most of his work on the ground. Had that big touchdown run. Here he goes underneath, and guess who it is, Matt? Jamion Lewis doing exactly what you described out to midfield.
I'm going to show you exactly what an option route is. All they're doing is they're taking Lewis, and wherever this defender plays him, he plays him up high, you're going to come back underneath. He plays him on the inside, he'll run an out route. If you play him on the outside, he'll run back to the inside. When you have things like that, you have to double that guy.
And here is Prescott, and he goes for 10 yards as he read it off Perkins and went straight ahead for another good run.
Did you see how Daniil Hunter came off the sideline? He came off the sideline and went right for the fake. And then Prescott took it right up inside for a first down.
This time it is Perkins, and look at that hole for Ladarius Perkins inside the 20, and it's going to be 1st and goal, Mississippi State.
When he sees the crack, he sticks his foot in the ground and he hits another gear right there.
And this time he is stacked up at the line of scrimmage by Anthony Freak Johnson.
Watch, he stuck his foot in the ground there and he hit another gear and got off to the races.
32-yard run by Perkins.
Dan Mullen and his play calling, along with Les Kenning, the offensive coordinator, they've really kept LSU off balance.
Boy, they had all those missed assignments week 1 against Oklahoma State. This offense didn't get off to a good start this year, but they're finding their stride here against LSU. 2nd and goal. Prescott again on the ground, and he's only able to get to the 5-yard line. It'll be 3rd and goal from there.
They've been most effective when they've been able to spread the field with 5 wide receivers. And Jamion Lewis has been the key to this whole offense. They have not, LSU has not found the answer to him.
Big night for Dan Mullen and the Bulldogs. Number 10 is rolled in here from this big crowd. 26 straight sellout. 3rd and goal. Can they retake the lead here? Prescott extending the play to the end zone, and that's incomplete as he was trying to find Robert Johnson.
He had Jamion Lewis back inside on the option, but this time the LSU defenders came from the inside out. So they kept the defender on the outside and then on the inside. And then on top of it, the ball got tipped, which forced the incompletion.
So Devin Bell, the sophomore kicker, comes on. Made from 35 earlier. This just from 22. And a good opening drive from Mississippi State here in the second half as we got a 2-point ball game in Starkville.
You were born an original. There's a health company that can help you stay that way. What's healthier than that? Go you. Cigna. Health benefits and services.
The meat in Arby's new Smokehouse Brisket Sandwich is hickory smoked for at least 13 hours, which made the barbecue experts say,
"That's longer than I smoke my meat."
Freshly sliced brisket topped with smoked Gouda cheese. Arby's new Smokehouse Brisket Sandwich. Ready when you are. Arby's.
Slice it up freshness. This Friday, the biggest cast of the year arrives with a bang. Danny Trejo, Michelle Rodriguez, Sofia Vergara, Lady Gaga, Cuba Gooding Jr., Mel Gibson, and Carlos Estevez.
When in Rome, right?
Machete Kills. Rated R. Starts Friday.
Coke Zero reminds you, it's not your fault you watch football all day. Man has always been captivated by watching stuff. And as civilization progressed, man was able to watch even more riveting stuff. And now scientists have developed HD to romance your eyeballs. How can you look away?
You can't.
So relax and do what your brain was made to do. Watch stuff. Because with real Coke taste and zero compromise, Coke Zero lets you enjoy everything.
On December 17th, 1903, the Wright brothers became the first in flight.
I think the most amazing thing is how like us these chimpanzees are.
You hear me? And you hear your voice?
Touchdown confirmed. We're safe on Mars.
Choose a Cigna health plan and get service 24 hours a day, every day.
Visit WatchESPN.com or download the Watch ESPN app to watch ESPN live anytime, anywhere. Brought to you by Vizio.
LSU's won 13 straight against Mississippi State. But tonight the Bulldogs are here with a little bite for number 10. 28-26, they closed to within 2 after that 8-play drive capped by the 22-yard field goal. Odell Beckham Jr., great return man, also had a big night tonight in the first half. Receiving the ball for 105 yards and that touchdown just before the half. And here is Odell Beckham Jr. And he's taken down at about the 21. Reminder coming up later tonight. What a battle in the Pac-12 North. Undefeated's number 15 Washington taking on number 5 Stanford. That's tonight at 10:30 on ESPN. Steve Sarkisian's done a great job with Washington. Keith Price playing the way he did 2 years ago, and you know what Stanford's all about. Rose Bowl champs from last year and still streaking into this year.
Still going to come down to that Washington defense and how well they play against that Stanford offense.
Play action, Mettenberger. And he connects downfield to Jarvis Landry.
Landry was so open, but he came up limping a little bit at the end there.
Showed that a little earlier too.
Well, remember he went off early before the half, but watch him on this route. Got a little hitch in his get along right there.
Right in the middle of that route. he's favoring that leg, but it's good for an 18-yard reception. You see him pulling up.
Heck, he turned
out of bounds there.
Turned Calhoun completely around.
Boy, if he's at half speed, give me half speed any day. 96 yards, 7 catches here. Jeremy Hill on first down. And he cuts back to the inside, and Hill gets it out to the 44-yard line.
DJ Jones in the spot.
Mettenberger, there comes the rush, and down goes Mettenberger, Preston Smith, and that front four, boy, did they show up tonight, Millen.
That's a nice call by Jeff Collins. They came with a stunt to the inside, and watch Preston Smith. He's going to loop around. The whole key to that thing was the defensive tackle to that side. I think it was Yules. He took the guard and pressed him into the tackle and allowed Preston Smith to come around.
So now it's 3rd and 14. And there was some movement up front.
That's going to be.
So we get the flag and the whistle.
Prior to the snap, false start. Offense number 65. 5-yard penalty. Remains 3rd down.
Tess, one of the things that Jeff Collins, the defensive coordinator for Mississippi State, has done a nice job of tonight is spot playing Chris Jones. And this 3rd and long situations, he's inserted Chris Jones, and Jones has just been a beast off that right tackle.
See, Jarvis Landry has come off the field here. 3rd and 19.
Keep your eyes right there.
And they come up with it with Traven Durrell. Zach Mettenberger launched it downfield, and it goes for 21 yards on 3rd and 19.
And a nice job of play calling by Cam Cameron. Get him outside the pocket to buy enough time. Listen, that's a long way to go, 15 yards. And then Rowell does a great job of going up and getting that pass.
Cam Cameron, what a difference he's made for his longtime friend Les Miles, coming over as the offensive coordinator here, former NFL and college head coach. Look at the time Mettenberger has now, and he checks down to Blue. And Blue gets free, and it's another first down for LSU.
Every time you turn around, LSU has another runner. He's got a bevy of them down there.
Jeremy Hill, Alfred Blue, Kenny Hilliard. Terrence McGee has had a good start to his 2013.
We got a Bulldog down. Jamerson Love, corner.
Junior cornerback starting. Remember, Mississippi State, they lost Darius Slay and Jonathan Banks to the NFL. As they tend to Jamerson Love, let's check in with Reese.
Joe, I want to get you up to date on Notre Dame and Arizona State. Sun Devils with a 13-7 lead just before the half. Tommy Reese to T.J. Jones, and the Irish go to the break in Arlington with a 14-13 edge. Pretty good first half for Reese, nearly 200 yards, couple of touches.
A fashion statement being made by the Irish tonight.
Those green shoes.
Little extra gold in the helmets as Jamerson Love, medical staff taking their time with him. It's a young man who had a 70-yard pick six earlier this year, and obviously drawing quite an assignment tonight trying to match up with these LSU receivers. Watch number 5. They're at the 40-yard line. So that was an area of concern for defensive coordinator Jeff Collins, and now Love is taken off by the medical staff.
most of the time you can absorb one guy going down. But what it does is it weakens your package when they go with 3 or 4 wides. And in this group here with LSU, they have so many weapons. You're down to guys who haven't really played that much.
Calhoun, who you saw there, he's been hurt, missed the last couple games. He's back in tonight. Here's play action on first down, pressure on Mettenberger, and Jeremy Hill came up and got it. There was a defensive back closing in hard that time, but it was Skinner. As you see, Mettenberger is slow to get up. It was Skinner who brought the pressure.
They've been getting pressure pretty consistently. They just don't block Skinner at all. He needed to get his hands up. He went for the sack, which, you know, that's the instinct to do. But he needed to force that ball a little bit higher.
2nd and 13 now. Alfred Blue meeting up with Bernardrick McKinney in the middle there as they're just inside the 37-yard line, and that green line is the field goal range of Colby De La Houssaye.
Landry is back out on the field. Boone is also on the field, and Beckham on the outside.
3rd and 9. Here come the cowbells. To the running back, who comes up short as Blue settled in at the 29-yard line. So it'll be 4th down there.
Justin Thompson coverage, making 7. Ball spotted at the Mississippi State 30.
Ball's on the 29. And 4th and 2.
And they're going to go for it.
Within De La Houssaye's range, but they will keep the offense on the field here on 4th and 2. Yet to convert a 4th down this season. And Beckham Jr. comes up with it, where it'll be 1st and goal LSU. The coverage came from Whitley, but the confidence they have in their star receiver. 26-yard catch on 4th and 2.
This is all Odell Beckham. See how he has a defender on the inside, and then that's Whitley, number 1. As soon as he had him to the inside, he made that break, and the ball was in the air, and that's just a thing of beauty. Mettenberger is on the same page with his receivers. They are seeing the same things, and they're taking advantage of it.
Kenny Hilliard, as he was trying to muscle his way in there. Hilliard already has a couple of touchdown runs tonight.
Tess, I got to tell you, if you're a Mississippi State defender, you're getting put in some tough positions.
You really are.
These receivers, they are the real deal.
This is one of the best and most complete offenses in college football, LSU, this year. You know their commitment always to the run game and what they can do with the power. And then Beckham and Landry on the outside with a much improved Mettenberger. Watch out. J.C. Copeland, he was taken down by the ankles, and he's going to be short. That was A.J. Jefferson wrapping up against the 270-pound back.
Oh, he just sliced to the inside, and that's a nice play by Jefferson. It's going to set up this 3rd down. They've tried to power it twice. Let's see if they continue.
And this front locked down for Mississippi State. 3rd and goal.
They got the big boys in.
Hilliard. Ball came loose. And Mettenberger is forced to fall on it. Back at the 7. Oh, they knocked on the door and it got slammed in their face.
That is some big-time defense for Mississippi State. They brought the big uglies in, and they met it with force. Look at this. That's a fantastic job. Right on it. D. Arrington, number 38, put his face right on the ball. That's big-time defense, Tess.
So now De La Houssaye comes out. Redshirt freshman. Got great technique, smooth stroke, and this will be a 24-yard attempt. Play clock hit zeros there as Delahousie
flag
swings away, and the flag came in.
Prior to snap, delay of game, offense, 5-yard penalty, and then 4th down.
Going to help him out with the angle anyways, Millen.
Yeah, but Tess, I got to tell you, from 1st and goal from the 2 to 4th and 12, that's pretty darn good defense.
It sure is. A statement by Mississippi State. So now it's Delahousie from 29.
Yeah, that
they kept him out of the end zone.
That angle helped them, Tess.
Kept him out of the end zone. They settle for a field goal. Oh, that big hit and fumble was big. Les Miles was watching on by way of the jumbo screen, and he didn't like what he saw.
All right, if you're thinking about getting a new truck, you're probably thinking about fuel economy. Well, you're going to want some torque to go with it. Because unless you're using your truck to deliver pizzas, you ain't getting anything done without it. Torque is power. It pulls trailers, hauls dirt, drags boulders. Torque is what gets the cap off your beer. And only the Ford F-150 with EcoBoost has the best combination of torque and fuel economy. Think about that. This is the 2013 Ford F-150.
I didn't know pink and silver looks good on you. That was close.
Try our tasty chicken minis for breakfast. This is not training.
Bring home the adventure. After Earth on Blu-ray Combo Pack, October 8th, rated PG-13.
Okay, ladies, grab a knee. I got somebody I want y'all to meet. He's a real leader, and he's gonna help us turn this thing around in the second half.
Affleck. Affleck. Affleck, 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 Affleck. Affleck!
That's what I'm talking about!
Affleck. Affleck.
You feel me? Yeah! Bring it in!
If you get sick or injured, we do everything we can to help you get back in the game. Affleck, an official partner of the Heisman Trophy.
Cheez-It Zings are bold, like game day fans, which means they are...
Awesome!
No.
Super!
A
magical? A magical! I knew I'd get it.
Just say amazings.
Yeah, a magical.
ESPN College Football Primetime, brought to you by the 2013 Ford F-150 with EcoBoost and Charles Schwab. Own your tomorrow.
You need to explain that to me, Millen.
Well, that's what they clamp them. They clamp them so they can work on them, and they got to
get one of those for Deuce. They got the vet school here at Mississippi State.
They do a
Your
great
big bull
job.
mastiff. They need one of those hydro treadmills for Deuce.
See what they do, Tez. We have that at home. That this is.
You have one of these at your house?
Yeah, not at my house, but the farmer next to me does. And so what happened? He probably ran a route, and he messed up his ankle, so they're taping it up so he can get back here in the second half. That's what you got to be able to do. They got some real bowls up there in that defensive front.
They were bullish there on that goal line moments ago. Reese, what's up, my man?
Hey, we got great stuff all over the place, Tess. On ABC, Northwestern just kicked a field goal. Less than a minute to go in the first half. Wildcats on top of Ohio State by 7, and Northwestern gets the ball first to start the second half. Florida hanging in with a 14-point lead on Arkansas on ESPN2. Better watch Auburn. Tigers much better than people think, but Ole Miss, Dante Moncrief just scored a touchdown.
Yeah, Auburn, that team got the best of Mississippi State with 10 seconds to play back on September 14th. That was a thriller down there on the Plains, Mississippi State and Auburn. We got a great one brewing here tonight with number 10 LSU. And it is Freak Johnson with another tackle for loss. Maria, what's the latest with Jamerson Love?
Well, guys, the athletic training staff is telling me that they put ice on his ankle, but they're not ruling him out yet. They're actually going to let him settle down. They're going to re-tape it, see how he feels. So he's not ruled out, but it is an ankle injury right now, the same right ankle that he injured earlier this season. Starting cornerback for Mississippi State in a matchup where they desperately need their best defensive back talent against Beckham and Landry for LSU.
This is the set that Mississippi State had success with. They've not found an answer for Lewis.
Prescott finds Lewis, and there he goes. Boy, you picked up on that early, Matt, and Lewis has been burning them.
Well, they've just been trying to put one man on him, and they don't have an answer for him. He is so quick. I told you he's a Welker-type guy. Great quickness, in and out. When you have a man, you're in man coverage like that, you cannot take your eyes off him. If your eyes have bad discipline, you go back inside, you're beat.
Just a 1-yard run this time from Josh Robinson. And there's Chief John Chavis, one of the veteran SEC defensive coordinators, who told us when we met with him, he said, listen, this Mississippi State offense is much more dangerous than people realize, and the two-quarterback system's been working well tonight. And a whistle comes in here as Prescott had a big hole in front of him.
Prior to the snap, timeout. LSU. First timeout this half.
Crowd reacting to that.
Tess, I'll tell you, the one adjustment that I see already, they put Micah Eugene, the DB, on Lewis, and it still hasn't worked.
Take a short break with LSU up 5. Watch the top of your screen, Les Miles. He got himself in there for the TO.
Monday Night Football, Jets, Falcons, 8:25 Eastern on ESPN.
Okay, look, if you've got the kind of job where you shower after work, then the phrase good enough ain't in your lexicon. Because just getting the job done doesn't get the job done anymore. You gotta own it. And this is your down payment, Ford Super Duty. It leads in every industry. #1 in construction, ranching, farming, mining, landscaping, forestry, you name it. This is the truck that the guys who do the hardest work depend on. Own it, baby. This is the 2013 Ford Super Duty.
Welcome to Applebee's. Right this way to the best seats in the house.
Welcome to the best seats in the house. Catch Monday Night Countdown at the new ESPN Fan Zone at Applebee's all season long. We're gonna need a bigger table.
So you switched to Charter Business. Now you have over 30 advanced business phone features. Feel victorious?
Actually, I do. Because instead of constantly missing calls, now my customers and contractors just call one number and they always reach me, even if I'm on the job site.
And what about that faster internet?
You kidding me? Productivity's through the roof. Yeah.
Customers who switched their internet and phone to Charter Business saved $50 per month on average versus their previous provider. So call now and start saving.
How many times have I told you? How many times have I told you? Yeah. How many times have I told you? If you're in a wreck with a big rig like this one, call me. I'm personal injury attorney Michael Hingle. You need an experienced, aggressive attorney.
Michael Hingle has offices in New Orleans, Hammond, Covington, Slidell, by appointment, Houma, Metairie, LaPlace, Gretna.
If you're in a wreck with an 18-wheeler, we'll take them to court and they won't be so big.
Call attorney Michael Hingle, 1-800-USA-JURY.
Before you accept a quick check, check with him.
They're grilling up here in our primetime game. 31-26. It is tailgate week, fired up by Kingsford Charcoal. You're always hungry, Millen.
I was born that way.
The SEC Network's going to launch in August 2014. For more information, you go to getsecnetwork.com. The most storied conference in college athletics with its own network. Maybe a story to tell about what's happening tonight. Georgia survived Tennessee in overtime, and now number 10 LSU getting a battle here with Mississippi State. Prescott going to tuck and run and dive ahead to move the chains.
He didn't like what he saw down the field, but had he looked to his left, Jamion Lewis was running right through the zone. But because he saw the green, he took advantage of it. This kid's a good runner. Run the play. Flag's down.
Prior to the snap, offside by contact, number 9. 5-yard penalty. Remaining first down.
31-26, an offensive night here. This is a conference that all of a sudden has got a lot of offense and star quarterbacks.
My. Many marvelous men right here.
You got
Murray, Mansell,
the alliteration.
Mettenberger, and McCarron, and they're all playing fantastic. Not to be outdone, this Mississippi State team, their quarterbacks are getting after it too.
Well, here we got Dak Prescott going back and forth with Tyler Russell at quarterback for Mississippi State. And on the slant, he finds the tight end Malcolm Johnson.
Boy, that was really well done there, Tess. He saw it right away, and he had pressure. You know, when he sees it, Levine Barrow, he beats this right away. Barrow is coming. He's going to hit him right square in the kisser, and the ball comes out fast. That's a hot read, and that is as good as it gets.
Empty set now before Perkins joins in, and they're going to run to the near side, and Prescott is taken down that time. That was Quentin Thomas finding Dak Prescott.
A pretty quiet night from the inside defensive tackles of this LSU defense.
Haven't called out Ego Ferguson's name much.
Yeah, Anthony
Frank Johnson's made a few plays.
Made a couple plays, but those two guys are to carry this defense. And tonight, they've been kind of quiet. That means that Dylan Day on the inside, Beckwith, Gabe Jackson, they've been doing their job.
And Coach John Hevesy, that offensive line, he loves what Gabe Jackson has been doing his whole career, number 61, the left guard. And Perkins, no hope trying to get to that edge against the pursuit of the LSU defense with Corey Thompson and Tre'Davious White.
You got an LSU defender down in the middle of the field.
And that is Ego Ferguson, who many believe is their most improved defensive lineman.
We started talking about Gabe Jackson on the inside, and he was going to have to play a good game in order for them to have any kind of success.
And Ferguson's a guy who plays nearly every down. No situational stuff for him. So they tend to him. We take a short break. Stay with us. More to come.
My mom is a survivor.
My mom is a survivor.
My mom.
My mom is a survivor.
Survivor.
My mom is a survivor.
Over the years, thousands of Belk customers and their families have faced breast cancer. That's why, at Belk department stores, pink is our passion. From our mobile mammography center to local fundraising efforts, Belk is committed to supporting breast cancer awareness and research.
My mom's a survivor, and so am I.
Nearly 250,000 women will be diagnosed this year, so join us and make pink your passion.
That's totally cool. Wow.
Imagine that.
This is wonderful.
We invited book lovers to try the new Kindle Paperwhite.
I read on an iPad, on my laptop.
Try to read on a tablet. It's really not made for that.
This is just for reading.
The iPad is heavier. It's really hard to see. Kindle I can see very clearly.
It has weeks of battery life.
It's as clear as a book.
I need one of these.
The new Kindle Paperwhite. You've got to read it to believe it.
Gotta see.
Ego Ferguson able to walk off the field. 31-26 LSU. Final minute 49 of the third quarter. Joe Tessitore, Matt Millen, Maria Taylor with you here in Starkville. LSU has dominated Mississippi State through the years. 13 straight they've won. A different vibe here in Starkville tonight. That young, talented defense of LSU is being tested by this two-quarterback system for the Bulldogs. For now, it's Dak Prescott, the sophomore, who's from Louisiana. 3rd and 6. And that was deflected that time.
Micah Eugene did a nice job of getting in the throwing lane. He was trying to get to the receiver behind him. I didn't quite see who it was, but Eugene does a nice job of getting a hand on it. Oh, it was Derunya Wilson, 81.
And Micah Eugene, good to see him bounce back. Had a rough game against Georgia. There's some miscommunication in the defensive backfield a few times in that thriller against Georgia. So Devin Bell will trot on. This attempt from 42. He's 2 for 2 on the night. 5 for 8 in his career from this range. And it just started to leak a bit on him. And Miles encouraging his defense, saying, "You held, boys." And Mississippi State comes up empty.
Well, he just pulled it.
Just strayed a bit there to the outside.
Leslie Edwin Miles was pretty pleased with that one, wasn't he?
He likes this team. Says he likes their personality. Says they recognize that they're not perfect, but they have a work hard mindset. There's Dan Mullen. All those years with Urban Meyer, and now 5 seasons in here at Mississippi State.
Oh, that's a great play.
And coming up and stopping that fast was Calhoun. He was all over it as Landry couldn't shake free.
Remember we talked about diagnosis, key and diagnose, and then you have to make the play, and he did just that. Calhoun's done that a couple times. You're gonna get a double move out of that sooner or later because he's been very aggressive on that.
Mettenberger to a wide open Odell Beckham. Seemingly all night, Beckham has had success like that. That time he was matched up with Cedric Giles. And this half, Mettenberger 8 for 8. He started off hot. He was 7 for 7 earlier tonight. Now 8 for 8 in the second half.
He started off hot, like you said, then he threw the pick. Then he cooled down a little bit, and he's right back on it. Well, Beckham has been unstoppable here tonight.
And Jeremy Hill has had his moments. Beckham only going to add to what's a career night as Hill rips off another big run. Jeremy Hill has 112 yards on 11 carries. Of course, had the 69-yard touchdown run on 3rd and short, where he got past everybody once that line couldn't corral him. And now he cuts back, wide open field, took a stutter step, and it's another first down for the Tigers.
That is reminiscent of Walter Payton. Did that little step in the middle of it. Doesn't quite have the same speed Walter has, but you gotta like the effort.
This LSU offense so productive this year. 453 yards of total offense at the end of 3. They average 474 a game. It's a fun one here in Starkville. Should be a great 4th quarter. Peyton, yeah, plus about 50 pounds.
All right, if you're thinking about getting a new truck, you're probably thinking about fuel economy. Well, you're going to want some torque to go with it. Because unless you're using your truck to deliver pizzas, you ain't getting anything done without it. Torque is power. It pulls trailers, hauls dirt, drags boulders. Torque is what gets the cap off your beer. And only the Ford F-150 with EcoBoost has the best combination of torque and fuel economy. Think about that. This is the 2013 Ford F-150.
The light bulbs in your house were invented by Thomas Edison in 1879. Now think about that with your 2013 brain. Do you still do the wash down at the creek while your eldest son stands lookout for wolves? No, you don't. This is a Cree LED bulb. It lasts 25 times longer. Nostalgia is dumb.
The Cree LED bulb. Anyone can fall in love with a brand new car. But keeping that flame burning for over a decade, that is a beautiful thing. Right now at Firestone Complete Auto Care, when you buy 3 select Firestone Affinity Touring tires, you'll get the 4th tire free. Whatever you drive a Firestone.
Go, go, go! Whoa, whoa! Battle's over. We got our PlayStation 4s a while ago, got here early. You should have been there.
Play the future first. Grab a Taco Bell $5 box, and you could win a PlayStation 4 before it's released.
Humans. Even when we cross our T's and dot our I's, we still run into problems. Namely, other humans. Which is why at Liberty Mutual Insurance, auto policies come with new car replacement and accident forgiveness if you qualify. See what else comes standard at libertymutual.com. Liberty Mutual Insurance. Responsibility. What's your policy?
Someone needs to burn this place to the ground.
The perfect ending to the trilogy.
Oh, my life is great!
The Hangover Part 3. Own the Blu-ray Tuesday.
ESPN College Football. Washington, Stanford, tonight at 10:30.
We welcome you back to ESPN College Football Primetime, presented by Hampton Hotels. As you're watching the SEC on ESPN. Joe Tessitore alongside Matt Millen and Maria Taylor. 31-26 starting the fourth quarter. LSU, after that instant classic against Georgia, still controlling their ability to win the SEC West. A great offense they have put together this year. They have cranked it up tonight against Mississippi State, and now driving against the Bulldogs with a 5-point lead to start the fourth quarter. Mettenberger, plenty of time, and chooses his option wisely. Odell Beckham Jr., he's done it again.
They haven't had an answer for him all night. And you know what, Tess? I don't know if too many people out there do have an answer for him.
He may be one of the very best in the college game right now. He's putting together a sensational season.
He's really exciting with the ball in his hands. Now, he'll make the catch. Now, here's the difference between he and a lot of other receivers that are out there. I don't care who's defending him. It could be Market, it could be Calhoun, it could be anybody. This kid, this guy, he'll make you miss, and he's getting to the end zone.
179 receiving yards and 2 touchdown catches for Odell Beckham Jr. Of course, Odell Sr. dad played ball at LSU. Mom was a track star down there in Baton Rouge. And Jr. is something special. Gives the Tigers a 12-point lead.
Yeah, that's my kind of night. That's my kind.
When it comes to doing what you love, more is better. That's why we designed the all-new Nissan Versa Note, with more technology to get you into and out of tight spots, and more space so that you always have your favorite stuff. And just for good measure, an incredibly efficient 40 mpg highway, so that when you're doing more, you're spending less. The all-new Nissan Versa Note, your door to more. Now get a $139 per month lease on a 2014 Nissan Versa Note.
We have been boarded by armed pirates. We stay locked down until help arrives.
The New York Times raves. Captain Phillips is an electric moral tale.
We have SEALs inbound.
Whatever happens, Captain Phillips does not reach Somalia.
A camera-shuddering thriller.
If you're gonna shoot somebody, shoot me! I need to see the captain!
One of the best films of the year.
Captain Phillips, can you hear me?
Captain Phillips, rated PG-13. In theaters and IMAX. Friday.
The meat in Arby's new Smokehouse Brisket Sandwich is hickory smoked for at least 13 hours, which made the barbecue experts say,
"That's longer than I smoke my meat."
Freshly sliced brisket topped with smoked Gouda cheese. Arby's new Smokehouse Brisket Sandwich. Ready when you are. Arby's.
Slice it up freshness.
Here's Bubba Watson. The master of the escape, ladies and gentlemen.
Da-da-da, da-da-da. Blue 375 Razor, Silverback.
Rabel storming around 3 defenders.
Another winner from Sharapova.
Goes back to the end zone, touchdown! Cage moves in, shoots, and scores. Hurry off the bounds.
McCutcheon coming on, and he makes the catch. Oh, that'll be on SportsCenter.
More on Kershaw's dominating win on another all-new SportsCenter next.
Whole lot of offense here in Starkville tonight. 38-26 is our score on a special night for Odell Beckham Jr. Career high in receptions and yards, as he's gone 9 catches, 179 yards, and just hauled in his second touchdown catch of the night. Sensational numbers for one of Zach Mettenberger's most reliable targets. You know, Jarvis Landry's on the other side, so that's a heck of a duo.
Yeah, Tess, they being Mississippi State Bulldogs have not had an answer for them all night long, and they knew that going in. They knew that to win this game, they were going to get some big plays on them from both those receivers. They knew Mettenberger would have a big night if he would have time to throw. And tonight he's had some time to throw, and like they thought, those two, they're special.
340 yards for Mettenberger. 15 touchdown passes on the year now. Only had 12 all last season. Let's check in with Reese Davis.
Joe, SportsCenter right now brought to you by Ally Bank. The American League Division Series, Big Hoppy went yard twice. That one knocked David Price out of the game. First time he's had a 2-home run game in the postseason. Red Sox on top of the Rays, 2-0. They win this one 7-4.
That time of the year. Everything's overlapping. Got a big day in the NFL tomorrow, and I think there's going to be plenty on SportsCenter tonight about Georgia, Tennessee, and that overtime thriller. Now let's see what we come up with for a finish here with Mississippi State. Dak Prescott. He's going to take a shot downfield, and it is just beyond Robert Johnson,
who's had a very quiet night tonight. Robert Johnson, we haven't called his name very much at all. They needed him to come up big in this game. This LSU defense kind of taking him out.
Prescott remains in as the quarterback. We saw Tyler Russell earlier. Second and 10 pass, as it was Malcolm Johnson who never turned his head around as it was thrown towards his outside shoulder.
Jamion Lewis, I don't see him out there. And
well, there he is.
That's been their offense. It doesn't help him when he's on the sidelines.
Here he comes in for 3rd and 10.
Now, if I'm LSU right now, I've got 2 on him. I'm going to bracket him and don't let him be able to use his quickness and his in and out moves.
They stack him 2 by 2 here on 3rd and 10.
Which is smart. Back your defense off.
Prescott with time, and that ball is intercepted. That is White on the return. Tre'Davious White inside the 10, trying to beat the last few men. It'll settle down at about the 5-yard line. It'll be 1st and goal, LSU.
That is completely on Prescott. That's it. Watch, he's looking to his left, and he turns. He feels pressure, and then he just turns to his left and just throws it up, Tess. That was a very poor decision. I want you to watch this right here. Feels pressure on the top side. He was going to go for Jamion Lewis, who is wide open.
That's a bad throw, man.
This is just a bad throw and a poor decision.
And a good return by Tre'Davious White, who's a cousin to former LSU star Mo Claiborne. And he's the only true freshman to make a start so far this year. He's the future of the program in that lockdown corner position. And we got whistles coming in here. And this could be a timeout for Mississippi State.
Timeout. Mississippi State. First timeout this half.
Chris Jones got onto the field late. This is the pressure we were talking about by Prescott. He feels it from the top side. That's Micah Eugene and Hunter. Daniil Hunter. And that quick decision resulted in a pick.
You know, Tre'Davious White, part of the future of this young, talented defense. But think about who could still be here for LSU. All that talent that left early for the NFL, like the Honey Badger, Gerald Simmons and Eric Reed at safety. And then, of course, up front, Sam Montgomery and Barkevious Mingo is having a great season so far for the Cleveland Browns. And guys like Brockers on the inside, and the heart of your defense, a guy like Kevin Minter. All this talent that has moved on to the NFL, all this talent that with eligibility sticking around could be playing on the defensive side of the ball for Chief Chavis and Les Miles. Could you imagine that married to this offense?
Tess, let me tell you something. They have those same players. They just haven't established themselves yet. They're going to,
young.
You'll get their names.
And then they have this guy, Jeremy Hill, the workhorse sophomore running back, adding to his evening. All of a sudden, what was a close game has become a Tiger roar and a big lead.
Not well done by Bernardrick McKinney. He's stacked. Can't stack. Everybody on defense is responsible for a gap. And when your gap, when things develop, you have to hit your gap. When you stack somebody and wait, you're out of your gap.
Great job by Hill with that balance, using that left arm to stay on his feet. Dak Prescott with the costly interception. LSU 2 touchdowns in the last 31 seconds. 45-26. Hill's second rushing touchdown tonight.
The great thing about our many breakfast options?
You did a great job. It looks good.
Is they're right next to our many other breakfast options. Feel the Hamptonality.
Now anyone can feel like royalty in the premium Nissan Altima. Winner of 3 top awards from KBB.com, Kiplinger's, and Edmunds.com. Nissan, innovation that excites. Now get $179 per month lease on a 2013 Nissan Altima.
We know it's your most important video conference of the day.
Hi, buddy.
That's why the free Wi-Fi and hot breakfast are something to smile about. Feel the Hamptonality.
My reverse mortgage from Bank of New Orleans gave me the financial freedom to live in my house without the stress of making monthly payments. Now I can afford my prescriptions and have money to travel.
Call Bank of New Orleans today, Louisiana's top reverse mortgage broker.
Fun. The time is right, the party's gonna be done. So let the good times roll. Go ahead and let the good times roll.
Stand right up and roar with 0% for 60 months plus 1,500 trade assist on F-150.
We gonna have some fun. Go ahead and let them good times roll.
Only at your Southern Quality Ford dealer.
Game day at Perlis. LSU polos, wallet, belt, purple gold crawfish, tiger stripe belt, Tulane polo, wallet, green blue crawfish, Saints polos and black gold shirts, crawfish tee, ladies game day merchandise. Get game day ready at Perlis.
ESPN College Football Primetime is presented by Hampton Hotels. Feel the Hamptonality. And in part by Nissan, premier partner of the Heisman Trophy.
Remember that defensive stand Mississippi State had when it was 31-26. All of a sudden here in the fourth quarter, LSU has opened it up. 45-26. They took the turnover. They cashed it in with the Jeremy Hill 5-yard touchdown run. Robert Johnson will take a knee. That gives us time to check in with Reese again.
Joe, I'm going to show you quickly Baylor touchdown. You've seen a bunch of these. This is Bryce Petty to Kevin Reese. The reason I'm showing you this is because Baylor scored 56 points in the first half, and they have 617 yards of offense at halftime. At halftime, Joe, if they can get 405 yards of offense in the second half, they'll have the greatest yardage output in a single game in college football history. They also only need 13 more points to score 69 in 4 straight games.
Reese, people need to wake up to what Bryce Petty is doing down there in that offense, because they are downright as dangerous as it comes as Perkins takes it. And that Baylor team, with the schedule they have in October, Matt, they could be sitting there in early November, undefeated, working their way up the rankings, and I don't know who in the world is going to slow them. They're going to have a meet-up with Oklahoma, but then November their schedule gets a little tougher. But the numbers that Art Briles offensively putting up are downright scary.
Well, Art Briles is the key. I think he's, we've talked about this a bunch.
Here's Lewis here for a first down.
He's as good as there is in college football. He knows how to call plays. He opens things wide open. He develops quarterbacks.
Bryce Petty's putting up numbers here that would make RG3 blush. Let's see what he finishes up with tonight. 56 is reset at the half. Here's Lewis again. They get their guy in space, and he can do some work.
They need a compliment for Jamian Lewis.
Stanford, Washington coming up tonight at 10:30 after we finish our business here in the SEC, where this LSU offense has hit high gear here in the fourth quarter. Prescott looking over options, slings it to the far side that time for Joe Morrow. And he catches it at the 38-yard line. Coverage came from Jalen Mills.
Nice job of coming back to the ball. This offense, they can move the ball. They just, they can't, in tonight's game, they couldn't afford to make any mistakes against LSU because LSU's offense, they're a machine.
And here is Prescott as he powers his way close to the 31-yard line, taken down by DJ Welter.
You take a look at that LSU schedule and what's coming up. There's some defenses there that will give them, they'll give them a little bit of work.
They got Florida next.
In particular.
Mississippi State. We're going to see if they can get a spark here. 13 minutes remaining. This was a game they were right in every step of the way. Delayed handoff this time. Helmet has come free here as Perkins goes down just beyond the line of scrimmage. That was Blaine Clausell, the left tackle, who will have to come out.
Fortunately, there was no head in it. That was good.
And there is the remaining SEC schedule. The showdowns with Alabama and Texas A&M. Remember, the loss against Georgia, they are aiming for a repeat there. They want a rematch against Georgia. They control their fate. See what happens against #1 Alabama on November 9th, and then the showdown with Texas A&M on November 23rd. Prescott here on 3rd and 2 as he lowers the shoulder, and that'll move the chains.
I think this Jamian Lewis has had just an outstanding game here tonight. And it's funny, Maria Taylor and I were at practice the other day. He was dropping a bunch of stuff. We kept on looking at him like, geez, 4 needs to work on his hands.
8 catches for 124 yards.
Yeah, that's not too shabby. He's played himself a good game. In fact, he's been their whole offense in the passing game.
Last week he threw a touchdown pass, ran for 1, caught 1. There was some movement there just prior to the snap.
Ball start, offense, everybody but the center. 5-yard penalty, Remains first down.
I like Ken Williamson.
That covered it.
Everybody but the center.
Everybody but the center.
Dylan Day, you're good. Everybody else, no good.
Old D-Day. D-Day's played himself a pretty good football game inside. Along with Gabe Jackson on the inside and Beckwith.
So backed up to a 1st and 15. Prescott under pressure, lets it go, and coming down with it. Did he complete the action of a catch? No. Initially had control, but Fred Ross
couldn't quite hold it, Tess.
As Rashad Robinson was in there.
Yeah, that's a good job by Robinson holding the way there.
Second and 15 now. Prescott. He had nowhere to go with Jordan Allen tugging on his jersey.
3rd and 11. They need to get the ball into Jamian Lewis's hands. They're playing a zone. He's outstanding at sitting in holes in the zone.
And here on 3rd and 11, Dak Prescott is going to be out, and Tyler Russell is going to come into this spot. He's 5 of 8 passing on the night. They've gone with platooning quarterbacks. So here's Tyler Russell coming in on 3rd and 11. And they bring some pressure against him, and they get to him as he is taken down that time by Barrow.
And they went man all the way in the outside, so you have an extra guy to come inside, and it happens to be Barrow, number 18, and he comes clean. You have a numbers advantage. You're bringing a bunch of people. Everybody gets picked up except for one, and that's what you're counting on.
Lamine Barrow, who's a senior, has been steady and reliable through his career, taking down Tyler Russell. And there is a Mississippi State player who is down. We'll take a quick timeout. Stay with us.
Maybe you've already heard what they're saying about the Nissan Altima. And we have to admit that it's all true. But don't just take their word for it. Check it out for yourself. The award-winning Nissan Altima. Nissan, innovation that excites. Now get a $179 per month lease on the 2013 Nissan Altima.
I was made to work, make my mark with pride, create moments of value, build character through quality, and earn the right to be called a classic. The Land's End No Iron Dress Shirt, starting at $49.
In the Outback, we don't tell you how many shrimp you get. You tell us how many you want. Introducing steak and unlimited shrimp from Outback. Hurry in. We're cooking up all-you-can-eat shrimp for a limited time. Succulent scampi, spicy buffalo, or crispy battered shrimp. You can try them all. With our award-winning signature sirloin plus a side for just $14.99. Someone's got a thing for shrimp. It's no rules, just right at Outback.
College football season is here, and so is Allstate's Ultimate Road Trip Sweepstakes. One grand prize winner will head to the Allstate Sugar Bowl to watch the game with Kurt Herbstreit, and then on to the 2014 Vizio BCS Championship. Enter today at allstatecfb.com.
All right, it's Monday night. I better get this touchdown, because everybody's watching. My buddies from high school, my coach from high school, my coach from high school's family, that family down the street that was on Family Feud, the Baldwin family, well, at least Billy.
Bro, you watching this?
Because it all comes down to Monday night.
ESPN College Football, Washington to Stanford, tonight at 10:30.
And you're watching the SEC on ESPN here in Starkville, Mississippi. It was Ben Beckwith, the starting right guard for Mississippi State, who was able to walk off the field as they tend to that left leg. And it's 4th down and 18 for the Bulldogs. Desperate times here in the 4th quarter. Tyler Russell, the quarterback. He's got a man, and just at the last second, that play is broken up by Ronald Martin. It was Joe Morrow who came free open, and Russell comes in on 3rd down and 4th down, and Mississippi State turns it over on downs.
Well, you can see Martin, he's playing in the 2 deep, okay? And so the hole of 2 deep is right up here. He's going to get depth, and you want to get on top of the corner and in front of the safety. That ball hung just a little too much.
Morrow had to wait for it.
Yeah, right here. See, that weight, that's the 2nd time we've seen that tonight. Did a nice job of getting her. That's good range by a safety.
And once again, another offensive lineman is down for Mississippi State.
You know, Tess, they're going to go back and watch this tape, and they're going to see that's Blaine Cauzel, the guy who's down. But they're going to watch the tape, and they're going to see the opportunities that they had. There's Cauzel, number 70. It looked like he just got his foot stuck in the ground and it went the wrong way, holding an ankle maybe. But they had opportunities. They were there. The plays were there to be made. A couple times the quarterback waited too long, or the ball wasn't thrown fast enough. They were open.
Celebrating its 9th year, sponsoring the Good Hands Field Goal Nets, Allstate makes contributions to participating universities' general scholarship funds for each field goal and extra point kicked. And to date, Allstate has contributed more than $3 million in those scholarship monies. Russell and Prescott on a night when they share the duties. And through 3 quarters, this Mississippi State team was thinking of catching the big one here. Hanging around with number 10 LSU. But this 4th quarter's been something different. Jeremy Hill taken down short of the line of scrimmage that time by Caleb Ewells and company. Matthew Wells also getting in on the tackle. As you see, Logan Stokes coming off. Caleb Ewells had just made the tackle there. He's got an interesting backstory. He stopped a potential tragedy. He was a hero back in high school when he tackled a gun-wielding girl in a school bus. That's when he was a high school senior. Brave young man. He's gone on to play 3 years of ball here at Mississippi State. Contributes well on that defensive front.
Yeah, he's a talented kid. Does all the fundamentals right. Plays nice and low. Strikes with his face and hands.
So does this running back, Jeremy Hill. Look at him strike Nico Whitley. And let me tell you something. Those two had an exchange last year. And that's what that's all about at the end of the play.
Well, Whitley, he knows he's the last line of defense. So as a safety, sometimes it doesn't matter if it looks bad. The runner has to go down any way you can. So sometimes you just got to lose one for the Gipper. You let him just run you right over. As long as the runner hits the ground, you're good.
Let me correct myself. It was J.C. Copeland, as I recall, that Whitley got into something with last year, not Hill. Copeland was in on that play, but he was filling that hole all night long, and they had something to say after the game last year. And here's a guy, Hill, who just keeps working and working and working.
Speaking of Copeland, he's down right now, but he had himself a big old hit to allow Hill to get through that crack.
Preston Smith is down as well. Copeland is the 270-pound fullback who they rely on with the power run game, and Preston Smith, who you see there for Mississippi State. He's that tall and strong defensive end. So just over 9 minutes remaining, and both medical staffs out there on the field. for Coach Miles and Coach Mullen. LSU in control here in Starkville.
Hey, honey, thanks again for picking up my parents at the airport. Love how
Coke Zero reminds you it's not your fault you forgot to go to the airport. Video games are amazing. 92 artists created this one scene.
Millions were spent.
Reality can't compare. Plus, are you just gonna let Lord Skilbreth lay siege to Dopenshire? Not today. The Brotherhood of Falcons needs him.
They can take a taxi!
Because with real Coke taste and zero compromise, Coke Zero lets you enjoy everything.
Now, taking care of things at home is just a tap away. Introducing AT&T Digital Life. Personalized home security and automation that lets you be closer to home.
So cool.
Get $100 in instant savings when you order Digital Life Smart Security. Limited availability in select markets.
Running a bike shop has its ups and downs. Seasonal doesn't begin to describe it. My cash flow can literally change with the weather. Anything that gives me some breathing room makes a big difference.
The Plum Card from American Express gives your business flexibility. Get a 1.5% discount for paying early or up to 60 days to pay without interest, or both, each month.
I'm Nelson Gutierrez, and I'm a member of the Smarter Money.
This is what membership is. This is what membership does.
This is the best party ever.
That is an understatement.
So glad we finally got in.
This place is banging. Hope it's cool we sit at the bar. The other tables look taken. Hey. I'm sorry, do we know you?
These are the best in town.
The ambiance is strange, but the food is incredible.
This is our apartment.
Our apartment.
Oh.
Weird name for a restaurant. More chips, please, waiter.
Tostitos, Cantina, chips, and salsa. Real restaurant taste, wherever your party's at.
Both Copeland and Smith over to the sideline after that last play, and both medical staffs helping out Mississippi State. Smith, the defensive end, Copeland, the fullback. And Zach Mettenberger, well, he guided his team well here in the second half. A 340-yard night, couple touchdowns for the senior quarterback.
Well, he's had, this is just a snapshot of what his season has been to date. He has had as good a season as any quarterback in college football.
He's completed his last 12 passes, all 9 in this second half. 2nd and 3 here. Alfred Blue. And he only gets a yard that time, tackled by Brown.
You know, interestingly, if you look at this LSU offense right now, as we see a flag go down, those guys were throwing a couple of haymakers at each other after the play.
Well, if there are punches thrown there, they may, well, that was a push by Autry, just with an open hand.
I was watching them earlier, and they were getting after each other.
Conduct, defense number 90. The penalty is 15 yards and includes an automatic first down.
Getting back to the point I was going to make, that Mettenberger's playing as well as any quarterback out there. And Odell Beckham and Jarvis Landry as a combo are probably the best there is out there, Tess. And Odell Beckham, just watching him, he reminds me of Marquise Lee. Probably a little bit better runner after the catch than Marquise Lee. Lee might be a little faster than him.
Very similar, though, aren't they?
Very similar, and they are explosive.
In terms of physical traits and characteristics and style of play, and there's Jarvis Landry, who, well, Jarvis Landry was limping around earlier. He's got 96 yards, but no touchdown, and he's looking to extend his streak of scoring a touchdown. 7 games for Landry. Mettenberger, the improvement continues. The results are there. More mature, more confident. Throws it to the right place with Cam Cameron as the offensive coordinator. Alfred Blue is taken down that time at about the 17-yard line by Market.
So Tess, that has been the talk with Cam Cameron, how he's helped. So the question is, how has he helped? And really, what it's really come down to is fundamentals. He shortened his stride, he shortened his throwing motion, and he just tightened him up, in his words. And it's not a one-time thing, it's all the time. I was down on the field before the game, We're down to talk to Cam, and he was coaching up Mettenberger right there. Short in the stride, he was saying. Keep it tight. I mean, so it's all the time.
He's always had the arm talent. Now he's a little more compact. He's quick, and you see the difference. Alfred Blue, a first down for LSU, inside the 5, into the end zone. And oh man, is this offense something for the Tigers this year. They got it every which way. Depth at running back, talent up front blocking, and those lethal receivers with the much improved Mettenberger throwing that rock around. They got 51 on the board as it stands now.
Well, our guy Copeland was back in, and he just tooled somebody inside. It looked like it could have been Benardrick McKinney.
All 6 plays on that drive were on the ground, and they went for 65 yards with Blue getting the touchdown run. Discover Game Changer brought to you by Discover Card. And the guy we can't stop talking about, Odell Beckham Jr.
Well, he was a game changer right from the beginning of the game. And the funny thing was, Mississippi State knew they had to stop him. They tried to go with tight coverage. He went up over the top of it. They tried to play zones. He caught it in front of it and then used his run after the catch ability. Anytime you called his number tonight, he's delivered, and that's why he is a real game changer. He'd be a game changer in any game, Tess. He's the guy that when you are getting ready to face LSU and you sit down as a defensive staff, you say, okay, we have to stop 3. That's the main guy. And we have to stop 80. And then Mettenberger, we have to get pressure on because the 3 of them will just eat us up.
Of course, Dad played at LSU. Mom was a track star at LSU. And when she was pregnant with Odell, she was still training. She was running, training Olympic trials, 6 months pregnant. And this guy runs all day long. In fact, Cam Cameron went out of his way to talk about how they've got NFL kind of endurance among their wide receivers, that these guys can just go and go and go.
And those are rare, Tess. I remember the first one that I ever came across was Cliff Branch.
Your old Raider teammate.
Cliff Branch could run and never get tired. And I looked at him like, what planet do you come from? I couldn't run from the sideline to the middle of the huddle and I was dying.
Here's Lewis now. And he's taken down at about the 15. 24 unanswered by LSU, Reese.
It has been impressive, Joe. Notre Dame's taking on Arizona State, 17-13 Irish. Tommy Reese had Troy Nicholas running wide open down the middle of the field, didn't see him. Finally found that big 6'7", 270-pounder in the end zone when he ran to the side, 24-13. Here's a guy who finds receivers all the time. Kevin Hogan and Stanford getting set to take on Washington. I think it might be the best game of the day coming up later tonight, Joe.
It could be. What a showdown they are set for out there. Washington and Stanford. And Kevin Hogan, he's got 10 touchdown passes on the year. And boy, that running game gets going for Stanford. And they suck up those linebackers. Play action for Hogan. Watch out. And here's Josh Robinson. And he drives ahead for 10.5 yards. Tyler Russell, 5-9 on the night. Back from the concussion suffered in week 1. Prescott got a little more playing time. Josh Robinson showing something here. Prescott had that opening drive where he was running the ball well.
You know, Dan Mullen has himself a pretty good football team. And he hung in this game. This team hung in there for 3 quarters. He's got the pieces of the puzzle. He has a young quarterback. He's got some receivers that need to be developed. He has some good runners. The offensive line is solid. Defensively, they need some corners. They really need some receivers on the outside who can take blow the top off of coverage and can separate. But this guy right here, Jamian Lewis, he's a big piece.
Junior receiver, so good in open space.
Timeout, Mississippi State.
Reminder that coming up in moments, it is the battle of unbeatens in the Pac-12. Number 15, Washington against Stanford. That is after we finish up our business here. Stanford and Washington. Last week we had the chance to spend time with Stanford, called their game against Washington State. I made the comment to you, it's not just that they're strong in every single position.
What they are, Stanford has maybe 2 A players, and they have a ton of B+ players. They don't beat themselves. They play physical. They play smart. You know, Bill Parcells said a long time ago, smart players rarely make dumb mistakes, and he was 100% right. They don't make mistakes. They make you beat them.
And let's clear something up on Stanford also. People talk about the rap on them. They don't have speed. There's speed on the perimeter, and you may see that tonight against Washington. That is a live ball there. And it looks like LSU has come up with it. As Lamar Lewis with the fumble recovery. First fumble loss of the season for Mississippi State. Quan Alexander caused this.
Well, watch the pitch. Yeah, it's just not a good pitch, and Josh Robinson can't quite find the handle on it.
Alexander got in the middle of that pitch there, and Lewis came in.
This score is going to look bad. It's going to look real bad, and the game was a lot closer than that. This Mississippi State team isn't far. They're not there, but they're not far from being a contender.
Stanford, Washington is going to start over on ESPN News. We wrap things up here in the SEC. As McGee carries for this LSU offense that has gone for over 540 total yards. What a difference a year makes. Cam Cameron comes in here as offensive coordinator. The maturation of Zach Mettenberg for Les Miles. And they can play some offense now.
Yeah, they do. And they have corners. They have a couple of defensive tackles. They have a young pass rusher. That Daniil Hunter, that kid is a good player. He's going to bring something. A couple years from now, they're going to say, boy, I wish we had Daniil Hunter back. It's a talented team. It's a fun team. They'll have their chance.
And here's McGee spinning for extra yardage and getting pad leverage down there inside the 10-yard line.
He's a thick rascal, man. I saw him before the game from the waist down. He's pretty thick. They have a bevy of runners. I mean, you saw what Hill could do. Blue came in. He did his thing. Hilliard came in. He ran all over the place. McGee, same thing. Les Miles does as good or better job at anybody in the country at recruiting. He recruits his kid. He recruits his state hard. He gets them to stay home. And that's a talented group of players on both sides of the ball.
McGee tracked down that time by Matthew Wells. Now remember this LSU team with that one loss to Georgia last week in that thriller. They control things in terms of their future, trying to hunt down a championship. They got the game at Alabama, home against Texas A&M. If they can guide things the right way here, and some more of those heavyweight clashes and come out with W's, perhaps a rematch with the other dogs.
They'll score in Alabama.
They'll score on anybody.
Yeah, they will. These receivers will match up well with Alabama's young corners.
And remember, that's a concern down there in Tuscaloosa. Is what do they have at cornerback? Terrence McGee tackled by McKinney. This was impressive. This was a game that closing out the third quarter, Mississippi State toughened up down there at the goal line, held LSU to a field goal, and it was 31-26. But then Les Miles' offense, one interception, they cashed in, the offense took control, and 24 unanswered. And here we are at 52-26. And it was McKinney again with the tackle of McGee. Good bounce back for LSU after that game against Georgia. That you saw how Georgia was tested today against Tennessee. Overtime loss for the Vols, 34-31. So many people were still reflecting on that game last week at Georgia. But here in the SEC, you got to bring it every single Saturday night. Mississippi State came out punching. They're still substituting here on fourth down with that clock being managed and whittled down. Dan Mullen trying to straighten things out.
Legal substitution. Defense, 12 players in the formation. Half distance to the goal. Fourth down.
He's got a bunch of kids on his roster that come from Louisiana, and they didn't get a phone call from LSU.
Yeah.
He says, I like coaching overachievers, and those overachievers gave him 3 quarters of heart and effort trying to stay with the big boys, number 10 tonight. LSU is going to coast into what will be their 14th straight win against Mississippi State.
He's got a good young roster. It needs to develop, but he's got some players.
And you can add to the stats of Kenny Hilliard. His 3rd touchdown of the night. And this may be one of those scores that folks look at and said, wow, look what LSU did on the road. Back-to-back SEC road games. They haven't done that playing consecutive road SEC games since 2009. They won both of those. This was a bounce back here. Dan Mullen feels the same way. How's 59 on the board sound, Reese?
59's big, and they're underway at Stanford. Washington and Stanford, and Ty Montgomery taking the opening kickoff, and he's on his way. Opening kickoff going to the house. You want to watch Stanford and Washington? You can see it on ESPN News or you watch ESPN app, and they're rejoicing on the farm. Looks like a touchdown for the Cardinal already, as long as there were no flags, and I don't see any, fellas.
Reese, we were just having the discussion of that old rap of Stanford. Oh, they don't have speed. They're just big bodies and running between the tackles. Folks, wake up to it. Stanford's got speed. Ty Montgomery is fast. The defensive backs can flat out play and cover. And that top 10 has them right now at number 5. LSU right here at number 10. They're not going away. Controlling things in the SEC West, depending on how the schedule plays out. They will determine things with Alabama and Texas A&M.
Ohio State trails 23-20. Northwestern's playing them tough. They always play them tough.
That's the more successful 2-quarterback system tonight.
Yeah, exactly.
And the band plays on. They spread out quite a bit there.
That's that spread offense they're running down here.
Spread band offense there.
Exactly.
This is one of the loudest venues in the SEC for one of the smaller stadiums. Davis Wade fits just over 55,000, but
and they're expanding.
Enthusiastic fans and the cowbells make up for it. And athletic director Scott Strickland adding on that end zone they're going to round out. They've got good fans here in Starkville. Dan Mullen's giving them a run of success, and they were hoping for the best here against the Tigers. But LSU in this fourth quarter has been just dynamic. This is Robert Johnson taking it out. Round 4 in the chase for the Sprint Cup. The NASCAR Sprint Cup Series at Kansas, presented by Dodge Durango. That is Sunday at 1 on ESPN. This guy accelerated this year, hasn't he? Zach Mettenberger. 25 of 29. 25 of 29. 340 and the 2 touchdowns.
Well, yeah, you can't get much better than what he played tonight. He made good decisions, threw the ball on the money. Was one bad decision he threw as a pick. Other than that, Tess, he was as advertised.
And they go to Jeremy Chappelle here. And Russell going to be wrapped up. He was anxious to get back out there after being concussed opening week, trying to work his way back. Missed the last 3 starts, split time with Dak Prescott tonight.
Well, Dan Mullen's going to have to make a decision, but I think Prescott is going to be the way to go. He's just a sophomore. He gives you a little bit more versatility with his feet. You know, that's obviously a coaching decision that they'll have to make.
Should be the final play here. And it's Wilson spinning his way down. What a night for LSU. 31 unanswered for Les Miles Tigers. They win it 59-26. Stay tuned for ESPN College Football Finale. Battle of Unbeaten's Washington and Stanford. So long from here in Starkville. Now let's get you out to Stanford for the big one in the Pac-12 with Brad Nessler.